Chapter 32:20. Ji Feishuan and Ba Dao left. They understood Ling Xiao's current situation. Although they were worried that Ling Xiao would encounter danger in the chaotic wilderness, they trusted Ling Xiao more. They believed that Ling Xiao would definitely be able to cross the chaotic wilderness and meet them at the end of the Eternal Emperor Road. They agreed to meet at the Chaos Emperor City. The Chaos Emperor City was the head of the 12 Emperor Cities and also the end of the Eternal Emperor Road. It was said that the Chaos Emperor City was extremely powerful. On one side was the Eternal Emperor Road, and on the other side was the endless chaotic void. Arriving at the Chaos Emperor City could be considered as stepping onto the peak of the Eternal Emperor Road. Fatty Xiao He couldn't break free from Ling Xiao's evil clutches in the end. He looked at Ling Xiao with resentment. "Ling Xiao, I'm going to die because of you," Fatty Xiao He said with a long face. Whenever he thought about how terrifying the chaotic wilderness was, he would feel extremely terrified. This damn Ling Xiao, why did he have to drag him into the chaotic wilderness? "You're not willing. If you don't want to, you can leave now. I heard that our names have spread throughout the Imperial City. I'm afraid that the Guardian Envoys will immediately attack us if they see us. Are you sure you can pass through the Imperial City unscathed?" Ling Xiao glanced at Fatty Xiao He and said with a faint smile. "You're bluffing." Fatty Xiao He was a little unconvinced, but at the same time, he was also a little lacking in confidence. "You can try if you don't believe me. However, if you're rejected, you won't have the chance to cross the chaotic wilderness with me," Ling Xiao said with a smile. Fatty Xiao He's face was sullen. He was skeptical of Ling Xiao's words, but he didn't dare to take the risk. He knew that he was very famous in the Kunpeng Emperor City. Previously, Yang Kangzi had issued a kill order for him. All the guards knew him. If he said that Yang Kangzi's death was related to him, all the guards would believe him. Speaking of which, he was the main culprit. If he didn't bewitch Ling Xiao might not have fought with Yang Kangzi. "Ling Xiao, you're really a bastard." Fatty Xiao He's face was pale. He believed Ling Xiao's words. "I was kind enough to bring you across the chaotic wilderness. Since you're not willing, you can leave." Ling Xiao glanced at Fatty Xiao and said with a faint smile. "Leave? Where can I go?" "Ling Xiao, you can't burn the bridge." Fatty Xiao He's heart trembled and he hurriedly said. "Burn the bridge? You can't tell me where I'm from now on. Go wherever you want to go," said Ling Xiao He. "Ling Xiao, big brother Ling Xiao, uncle Ling Xiao. You can't be like this. I'll listen to everything you say, okay? As long as you bring me across the Kun, I will do anything." Fatty Xiao He panicked and pounced on Ling Xiao, hugging his thigh as he howled in agony. He was merely at the 3rd level of the Imperial Monarch realm, so traversing the chaotic wilderness by himself was simply courting death. In the primal chaos wilderness, being fast wasn't enough to guarantee one's safety. There were too many dangers in the primal chaos wilderness. Thinking about the various legends about the primal chaos wilderness, Fatty Blackie's scalp went numb and his little face turned deathly pale. "I can do anything." Fatty Xiao He gritted his teeth. "Then you have to be my mount." "Ling Xiao, you're going too far. Then you should leave." "Ah. I'll kill you." While Ling Xiao and Fatty Blackie were fooling around, they did not notice that a pair of eyes in the Yellow Spring Sacred River were staring at Ling Xiao through the layers of chaotic fog. That pair of eyes was bright, deep, and incomparably complicated. They looked at Ling Xiao with reluctance and longing, but in the end, they were replaced by indifference. A soft sigh was heard, and the pair of eyes disappeared into the chaotic fog. "Strange, it seems like something is watching me." Ling Xiao looked into the depths of the Yellow Springs Sacred River. "What is it? Don't scare me." The Yellow Springs Sacred River is full of corpses. Who knows how many tens of thousands of years have passed. There has never been anything alive. Xiao He grabbed Ling Xiao's sleeve, his face full of vigilance. "I don't know. Look at how useless you are. I'm going into seclusion to refine the origin Tao fruit. Protect me. Ling Xiao shook his head and glared at Fatty Blackie in exasperation. Seclusion? Do you have to seclude yourself here? The Yellow Springs sacred river flows through here. It's an ominous place. Xiao He looked at the Yellow Springs sacred river in the distance. It's the safest place. If you leave and are discovered by the Kunpeng Imperial City Guards or trial takers, do you think you'll be a match for them? Ling Xiao said in annoyance. What's there to be afraid of? I have the Heaven Devourer bell. Fatty Xiao He said proudly. Refine the Heaven Devourer bell first. Ling Xiao ignored Xiao He and sat cross-legged on a barren mountain in the distance, beginning to refine the 108 origin Tao fruits on Petal Pluck Prince. The 108 origin Tao fruits and the ball of heavenly Tao fortune were incomparably precious treasures to Ling Xiao. Perhaps they could help his cultivation advance a step further. Moreover, Ling Xiao was very curious about the heavenly Tao fortune of robbers. What was the difference between the heavenly Tao fortune of guardians and robbers? The 108 origin Tao fruits merged into Ling Xiao's consciousness. Unfortunately, most of them overlapped with Ling Xiao's own. In the end, Ling Xiao had only obtained 40 perfect origin Tao fruits. The number of origin Tao fruits in Ling Xiao's consciousness had reached an astonishing 220. Refining the origin Tao fruits wasn't difficult for Ling Xiao. He focused all of his attention on the ball of heavenly Tao fortune. Perhaps I'll be able to form the Heaven Tao Pearl after merging with this ball of heavenly Tao fortune. Ling Xiao thought to himself. The Heaven Tao Pearl was a pearl formed in one's consciousness when one's heavenly Tao fortune was extremely powerful. It could sense the truths of heavenly Tao, peer into the heavens, and see through the eternal emperor's path. It could even be invulnerable to all things. Ling Xiao was the chosen one. In addition, he had devoured a considerable amount of heavenly Tao fate after killing the two guardians. Now, the heavenly Tao fate in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness was like a dense fog. It shone with a myriad of multicolored lights, and it was almost tangible. As that ball of heavenly Tao providence fused into Ling Xiao's forehead, Ling Xiao's primordial spirit sea of consciousness shone brightly. The dense fate of the heavenly ways had already merged with Ling Xiao's soul. Now, it trembled violently as if it was boiling, gathering together. Rumble. The vast heavenly Tao fortune rose like a sea of clouds, constantly merging with each other and releasing dazzling light. A transcendent and mysterious aura permeated the air. Amidst the heavenly Tao providence, there seemed to be a pearl that was about to condense. Chapter 32:21. P.S. I haven't slept at night taking care of the baby for the past 2 days. Now that the confinement nanny is here, I can finally relax a little. Today, I will make up for yesterday's update and release as much as I can. Tomorrow is the Mid-Autumn Festival. I wish everyone a happy Mid-Autumn Festival. This is the Heaven's Path Pearl. Ling Xiao's body trembled, and his eyes revealed a trace of understanding. On the Eternal Emperor's road, if one could obtain enough heaven's fate and condense the Heaven's Path Pearl, they would become the Son of the Heavens. With the vast power of the heavens, they would be invincible. The Heaven's Path Pearl was the symbol of the Son of the Heavens. Son of the Heavens? Is the heavens still the heavens? Ling Xiao thought to himself. Buzz. The Heaven's Path Pearl devoured all the heaven's fate and looked sparkling like glass. Specks of starlight gathered, as if it contained a vast starry sky. Ling Xiao felt an incomparably powerful heavenly might from the Heaven's Path Pearl. The Heaven's Path Pearl seemed to be very spiritual. After devouring all the heaven's fate, it was about to merge back into Ling Xiao's indestructible primordial spirit. Whoosh! Ling Xiao's mind moved, and the textless heavenly book instantly flew out and blocked the Heaven's Path Pearl. Then, it emitted a powerful devouring force and swallowed the Heaven's Path Pearl into the textless heavenly book. TSK. Master, you're really generous. Once the indestructible primordial spirit merges with the Heaven's Path Pearl, you'll be the Son of the Heavens. You'll be invincible, and it'll be much easier for you to break through the chaotic wilderness. The evil spirit said. Son of the heavens? It's fine if I don't want to be the son of the heavens. I'm still used to controlling my own fate. I have a feeling that if I merge with the heavens path pearl, I might become a robber. Ling Xiao said slowly with a burning gaze. Ever since he suspected the heavens, he was extremely wary of everything related to the heavens. The heavens path pearl seemed like a good item, but Ling Xiao instinctively felt that something was wrong. It was as if a disaster would befall him after merging with the heavens path pearl. Master, don't worry. No matter what strange things about the heavens path pearl, I'll help you. Even the heavens path pearl can't escape from the textless heavenly book. The evil spirit said confidently. Then, it's up to you. Ling Xiao nodded and said noncommittally. He felt a mysterious will in the heavenly path pearl. Ling Xiao was very cautious. Although he did not integrate it into his primordial spirit, he still planned to use the wordless heavenly book to investigate the details of the heavenly path pearl. However, the heavenly path pearl was formed from the heavenly path luck. It illuminated the heavens and was unfathomable. Even with the wordless heavenly book, it was not something that could be thoroughly investigated in a short time. It's time to go. Ling Xiao sighed softly. The sharpness in his eyes seemed to pierce through the layers of chaotic fog and see the vast wilderness in the depths. In the wilderness of chaos. The forbidden zone of Eternal Emperor Road. That was Ling Xiao's only path. Whoosh! Fatty Xiao He turned into a big black and white fish. Yin and Yang Qi intertwined around him. His wings spread out like clouds in the sky, emitting a desolate and ancient aura. Ling Xiao took a step forward and stepped onto the back of the Kunpeng. Then, the Kunpeng soared into the sky and disappeared into the horizon. They left the Yellow Spring Sacred River, the great swamp of the mountains and seas, and the Kunpeng Imperial City's area. They headed in a distant and unknown direction. Eternal Emperor Road was vast and boundless. Many people even guessed that Eternal Emperor Road was not just a road, but an endless world. The area covered by the 108 imperial cities was protected by the heavenly path. It was the safest place. This was also the path that many challengers had to pass through. After passing the test of one imperial city, they would step onto another imperial city. However, the path that Ling Xiao was taking now was the boundless wilderness outside the imperial city. There was no imperial city as a place to rest. There were only countless primeval beasts that were even taller than mountains, and all kinds of unexpected dangers. Also, loneliness. That's right, loneliness. In the wilderness of chaos, one might not even meet an intelligent being in 10, 100, or even 10,000 years. That kind of loneliness came from the depths of one's soul. The most terrifying thing was that if one got lost in the wilderness of chaos, they might be trapped there forever. Therefore, the wilderness of chaos was a place that all challengers were afraid of. But now, the wilderness of chaos was Ling Xiao's path. Ling Xiao, that's the wilderness of chaos. I'm afraid I'm going to die because of you. Fatty Xiao He had a long face as he spoke in human language. In front of them, endless chaotic mist rose. It was vast and mighty, like a sea of clouds that separated the heavens and the earth into two halves. Behind them, they could still see the ancient and majestic Kunpeng Imperial City. But in front of them, there was only endless wilderness. Vast, silent, desolate, and lonely. It was as if they had been abandoned by the world. Stepping into the wilderness of chaos made them feel abandoned. Even the depths of their souls were not used to it. So what if it's the wilderness of chaos? If I can't even conquer the wilderness of chaos, how can I reach the peak of Eternal Emperor Road and find the secret of transcendence? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. But in his heart, he was full of pride. The vast wilderness of chaos in front of him was filled with danger. It was ancient and mysterious, but it made Ling Xiao feel like he had conquered it. Ling Xiao, you said you would protect me and help me find treasures to help me improve my cultivation. Fatty Xiao He said with a grunt. Don't worry. As long as you obediently become my mount, you won't be short of benefits. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Fatty Xiao He was probably the only pure-blooded Kunpeng divine beast in the universe. His bloodline had already reverted to its ancestor, and he was not inferior to the Kunpeng divine beast. His wings were like clouds in the sky, spanning 90,000 miles. Was there any mount that was more flashy and faster than the Kunpeng? Maybe there was. Ling Xiao thought of the dragon horse with its big white teeth. It might be comparable to the Kunpeng, but it was a pity that the dragon horse was not here. With Fatty Xiao He around, it would be a great help for Ling Xiao to cross the wilderness of chaos. Fatty Xiao He's face twitched when he heard the word mount. His eyes were full of displeasure, but there was nothing he could do. Following Ling Xiao's command, he shot out like a bolt of black lightning and entered the endless wilderness of chaos. Ha ha ha. Friends in the wilderness of chaos, I'm coming. You'd better wash up and wait for me to dote on you. I'm going to eat all the wild beasts in the wilderness of chaos, eat all of them. Fatty Blackie suppressed the worry in his heart. A proud expression surfaced between his brows as he roared at the primal chaos wilderness. His voice reverberated between heaven and earth like thunder, setting off gusts of wind. He was extremely arrogant and domineering. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and ignored Fatty Xiao He's shouts. He stood on the back of the Kunpeng, and the chaotic fog around him changed. His clothes and black hair fluttered in the wind, and his aura was extraordinary. He was like an emperor descending to the mortal world. In the blink of an eye, the two of them disappeared into the endless chaos without a trace. Chapter 32-22. Just as Ling Xiao and Fatty Blackie entered the chaotic wilderness, Ling Xiao's name had spread throughout the 108 imperial cities. Out of the 108 emperor cities in Eternal Emperor Road, there were 96 guardian envoys in the other 96 emperor cities, except for the last 12 supreme emperor cities that did not have a guardian envoy. These guardians were all chosen by the heavenly Tao and possessed the heavenly Tao fate. They were very familiar with each other and had special means to communicate with each other. With the support of the heavenly Tao fate, they were like great emperors in their respective imperial cities and had the power to suppress everything. They were used to abusing others and had never thought that they would die in the hands of the trial challengers. In their eyes, the trial challengers were just a flock of cattle and sheep. Other than a few geniuses who needed to be paid attention to, the rest were just for them to take. They were guardians, the emissaries of the heavenly Tao fate. Now, there was a flock of cattle and sheep who had killed 2 guardians consecutively. This immediately caused an uproar in all the imperial cities. Ling Xiao deserves to die. That's right. Daring to kill a guardian is defying the heavenly Tao and deserves to die. I think he's a robber and must die. The human race is a bunch of arrogant people who don't respect the heavenly Tao and heavenly Tao. Do you remember that guy from an epoch ago? The way I see it, this Ling Xiao wants to walk his path. You mean Di Jun? That's right. This was the so-called heavenly emperor of the human race. An epoch ago, he stirred up a storm of blood on Eternal Emperor Road. The majority of the 96 guardians died at his hands. But without him, we wouldn't have been able to get to the top. Eternal Emperor Road will never allow such an awesome existence. In the endless chaotic void, powerful divine consciousnesses intertwined. Their auras were powerful and terrifying, containing shock, anger, and fear. They were all guardians of the various imperial cities. After hearing that Ling Xiao had killed the Candle Dragon and Young Kangzi, they could no longer sit still. All 96 imperial cities issue a kill order at the same time. Anyone who can kill Ling Xiao will be directly sent to Chaos Imperial City and be rewarded with a heavenly Tao Pearl. This Ling Xiao must die. For this, even if we have to expend a portion of our heavenly Tao providence to condense the heavenly Tao Pearl, we will not hesitate. Those sky prides and monstrous geniuses might not care about going straight to the primal Chaos Emperor City, but they definitely care about the heavenly Tao Pearl. Agreed. Agreed. Many of the guardian envoys were extremely wary of Ling Xiao. At the same time, they issued a kill order in the Imperial City. At the same time, they put all the cities under martial law and ordered the guards to patrol day and night, not allowing Ling Xiao to enter. They were determined to kill him. As soon as the imperial city kill order was issued, the entire Eternal Emperor's road was in an uproar. Everyone was in an uproar. This Ling Xiao is the heaven's chosen one from the divine world. He's too awesome. He just entered Eternal Emperor Road, and yet he's already killed 2 guardian envoys. That's right. Ling Xiao is truly a role model for my generation. I've long found those guardian envoys displeasing to the eye. All of them act like tyrants, acting as the representatives of the heavenly Tao. All of them deserve to die. But the reward for the imperial city kill order is really tempting. Not only does it lead straight to the primal chaos emperor city, but there's also the heavenly Tao pearl as a reward. That's the heavenly Tao pearl we're talking about. What's the heavenly Tao pearl? Brother, please explain. You don't know about the heavenly Tao pearl? It's formed from the heavenly Tao fate. Legend has it that once the heavenly Tao pearl forms in one's body, one will become the son of the heavenly Tao and be invincible. Not only will one's cultivation increase rapidly, but one can also easily touch the origin of the great Tao. It's a priceless treasure. Even an extreme Tao monarch weapon would not be worth it. Hiss. It's actually so heaven-defying. Looks like those guardian envoys are completely afraid of Ling Xiao. They even took out such a heaven-defying treasure. Isn't that so? But Ling Xiao is probably in danger now. There are so many trial takers from all over the universe, and there's no lack of ancient sky prides and monstrous geniuses. There will definitely be people interested in the heavenly Tao pearl. If Ling Xiao can't enter the imperial city, what about him? Is he going to enter the primal chaos wilderness? It's hard to say. The primal chaos wilderness is so dangerous. If it's me, even if I die, I'll die in the imperial city. In the various imperial cities, many trial takers were discussing fervently. They were extremely shocked. Some people sympathized and admired Ling Xiao, but some people mocked and ridiculed him. Some people were even interested in the Imperial City Hunting Order's reward and secretly tried to find out about Ling Xiao's whereabouts. After all, according to the Imperial City Hunting Order, Ling Xiao's cultivation level was only at the mid-level Imperial Emperor realm. He must have used some underhanded means to kill the 2 guardian envoys. It was not his true strength. In the various imperial cities, the sky prides and monstrous geniuses were also alarmed. Indeed, as the guardian envoys had expected, the primal chaos imperial city was not attractive to them. After all, each of them was a peerless sky prides and they were confident that they could kill their way into the primal chaos imperial city. However, the heavenly Tao pearl was different. It was a heaven-defying treasure. Even the ancient sky prides and monstrous geniuses were interested in it. The various imperial cities were in a mess. Some people began to inquire about Ling Xiao's whereabouts. Some people even wanted to make a move on Ling Xiao's acquaintances. Some of Ling Xiao's friends were also investigated. For the Imperial City Hunting Order, many trial takers and sky prides were mobilized. Outside the Heaven Demon Imperial City, a valiant young man in golden armor was riding a 3-legged golden crow and fleeing into the distance at an extremely fast speed. Behind him, a group of figures with powerful auras chased after him. As they chased after him, they shouted and threatened him loudly. "Zhao Ritian, where do you think you're going? Surrender obediently. Once we capture Ling Xiao, we'll naturally let you go. Otherwise, we'll let you have a taste of what it's like to live a life worse than death." An extremely domineering voice boomed like thunder. It was also like the roar of a dragon or a tiger. It was so loud that it hurt people's ears. "You want to capture your grandfather? Dream on. A bunch of bastards. If it's a one-on-one fight, I'll beat you until your mother can't recognize you. What's the point of bullying others with numbers?" Zhao Ritian was so angry that he cursed. His eyes were filled with grievance. That's right. The young man riding on the 3-legged golden crow was Zhao Ritian. At this moment, he looked extremely pathetic. The dazzling three-legged golden crow continued to increase its speed and fled into the distance. Master, that Ling Xiao is a good-for-nothing. He's really a troublemaker. He actually made the entire world his enemy. Everyone on the Eternal Emperor Road wants to kill him. He even implicated us. The three-legged golden crow said in a muffled voice. Peak. Chapter 32-23. The three-legged golden crow was also a pure-blooded divine beast. After becoming Zhao Ritian's mount, it had followed Zhao Ritian for a few great opportunities and deeply understood the terrifying power of Zhao Ritian's fortune maker. Since then, it had followed Zhao Ritian obediently and could not be chased away. Now, the three-legged golden crow was also an imperial emperor and its cultivation had reached the third heaven of the imperial emperor realm. Zhao Ritian's cultivation had even reached the sixth heaven of the imperial emperor realm. Don't mention that bastard to me. Ling Xiao, that bastard. When I see him, I'll definitely teach him a lesson. He's practically a rat on the street now. Just because I said I knew Ling Xiao, that bunch of mad dogs chased after me. I'm so angry. Zhao Ritian scolded. He was extremely depressed. After entering the Eternal Emperor Road, Zhao Ritian had been extremely carefree. He had passed through the trials of several emperor cities without any mishaps. He had also obtained many opportunities. He had even mistakenly entered the land of inheritance of a great emperor and obtained a large number of origin pills. His cultivation had also improved by leaps and bounds. He did not feel how cruel the Eternal Emperor Road was at all. On the contrary, he felt that the Eternal Emperor Road was full of opportunities and opportunities. Just as he leisurely entered Sky Devil Imperial City, he heard people talking about Ling Xiao. In the end, before he could figure out what was going on, he had already said that he knew Ling Xiao. Then, tragedy befell him. A group of trial takers were like mad dogs. Their eyes were red as they began to chase him from Heaven Demon Imperial City. They had been chasing him for hundreds of thousands of miles. Although Zhao Ritian's cultivation was extraordinary and his strength was incomparably strong, there were many high-level imperial emperors among the trial takers. 2 fists were no match for 4 hands. He could only run around gloomily. The culprit of all this was Ling Xiao. Zhao Ritian had already cursed Ling Xiao's 18 generations of ancestors. This was simply an unexpected calamity. Master, it's all because of your big mouth. If you didn't say you knew Ling Xiao, they wouldn't have chased you. We wouldn't be in such a sorry state. The three-legged golden crow said gloomily. Shut up. Stop talking nonsense. Let's think about how to escape first. Zhao Ritian said angrily. However, even though Zhao Ritian hated Ling Xiao to the core, there was still a trace of admiration in his heart. He did not expect Ling Xiao to be so powerful. Not long after entering Eternal Emperor Road, he had already killed 2 guardian envoys. The guardian had the blessing of the heavenly Tao. Their strength was unparalleled and unfathomable. Every guardian had the cultivation base of a peerless imperial emperor. Zhao Ritian was very curious about how Ling Xiao managed to kill the guardian. The three-legged golden crow carried Zhao Ritian and fled at full speed. Soon, they saw black demonic chi rising in front of them. On the vast land, there was an unfathomably deep abyss. The earth seemed to have been split in half by some kind of mighty force of heaven and earth. The abyss stretched for hundreds of millions of miles, leading to the depths of the chaos. Inside the abyss, a majestic demonic aura rose, pure and vast. This is Heavenly Devil Abyss. Little 3, quickly enter the Heavenly Devil Abyss. Perhaps we can use the Heavenly Devil Abyss to shake off those mad dogs behind us. Zhao Ritian's face was filled with joy as he hurriedly urged the three-legged golden crow. The Heavenly Devil Abyss was a forbidden area around the Heavenly Devil Emperor City. It was also the training ground of the Heavenly Devil Emperor City. Legend had it that it was extremely dangerous, with many powerful prehistoric demonic beasts. However, at this moment, the Heavenly Devil Abyss was like a paradise to Zhao Ritian. He could not care less. Master, I've said it before. Don't call me little 3. I have a name. My name is Dong Huang. The three-legged golden crow said with some dissatisfaction. Why are you talking so much nonsense? If I say you're little 3, then you're little 3. Dong Huang. Why don't you call yourself Dong Di? Quickly get down. Zhao Ritian suddenly grabbed the three-legged golden crow's neck and said fiercely. Don't pinch, I'm dying, the three-legged golden crow cried out in pain. After a moment of chaos, the three-legged golden crow obediently flew into the heavenly devil abyss. The three-legged golden crow was extremely fast. Its entire body was golden, like a golden sun. It was surrounded by the true sun fire as if it could burn everything. When it was escaping with Zhao Ritian, although its speed was extremely fast, it was like a bright lamp. It could not escape the eyes of the trial challengers at all. However, now that the three-legged golden crow had entered the heavenly devil abyss, its figure and aura were quickly covered by the vast demonic chi. The three-legged golden crow and Zhao Ritian had disappeared. Many of the trial challengers stopped in front of the heavenly demon abyss, and their eyes were filled with fear. What should we do? Should we chase after them? The heavenly devil abyss is full of danger. The training has not started yet. If we fall into it and encounter powerful prehistoric demonic beasts, I'm afraid we'll all die. Chase. We must catch that Zhao Ritian. That Zhao Ritian is the son of the heavenly emperor. He must have the inheritance and treasures of the heavenly emperor. It doesn't matter if we can't find Ling Zhao's whereabouts from him. This kid himself is a huge treasure. Among the trial challengers, there were 4 figures with incomparably powerful auras. They were all high-level imperial emperors. 2 of them were elders from the demon clan. They were both wearing black robes. Their auras were incomparably powerful and unfathomable. There was also a young man with a cold face and a middle-aged woman with a voluptuous figure who looked very charming. The 4 of them were the leaders of the group. In the end, they decided to enter the heavenly devil abyss to hunt down Zhao Ritian. With their decision, everyone gritted their teeth and plunged into the heavenly demonic abyss. The heavenly devil abyss was an underground abyss. After entering the heavenly devil abyss, Zhao Ritian and the three-legged golden crow realized that there was another world here. It was actually an incomparably vast underground world. In front of them was a gray area with only a faint light. It was like chaos. Although there were mountains and lakes, they were tainted with a trace of demonic chi. It looked very strange. After entering the heavenly devil abyss, Zhao Ritian and the three-legged golden crow withdrew their auras at the same time. Light flashed around Zhao Ritian's body. His incomparably flashy golden battle armor instantly turned into a black robe. The three-legged golden crow also withdrew its golden light and turned into an ordinary black crow. The 2 of them hid in the demonic chi and moved into the distance at an extremely fast speed. Master, our auras have been isolated by the heavenly devil abyss. They have now lost their lock on us. What should we do next? The three-legged golden crow asked. Of course, we'll take a look around the heavenly devil abyss. Based on my experience, the forbidden areas around the imperial city are all related to great emperors. Perhaps there's a great emperor's inheritance here. Let's go look for it. When my cultivation improves greatly, I'll kill all those bastards who are chasing after us. Zhao Ritian snorted coldly. A great emperor's inheritance? Master, where are we going now? The three-legged golden crow's eyes lit up as it asked eagerly. It fully understood how terrifying Zhao Ritian was as the fortune boy. This guy was like the illegitimate child of the heavenly axiom. Wherever he went, there would be a pile of treasures. Counting carefully, the great emperor's inheritance that Zhao Ritian had with him should have exceeded 10, right? The great emperor's inheritance that others yearned for but could not obtain was as simple as eating and drinking for Zhao Ritian. There. I think there's something good there. Zhao Ritian's eyes flashed as he pointed in a direction. Without needing him to say anything, the three-legged golden crow immediately flew in that direction. Peak. Chapter 32-24. Zhao Ritian and the three-legged golden crow traveled through the dark demonic qi at an extremely fast speed. The heavenly demon abyss was shrouded in pure demonic qi. It looked like a dark world. Although there were mountains and rivers, it was lifeless, as if there were no signs of life. The two of them had concealed their auras, making them look ordinary. Therefore, along the way, except for some of the less powerful ancient beasts blocking their way, they were easily killed by them. As for those powerful ancient beasts, each of them had an incomparably powerful aura. They could sense them from far away, so they carefully avoided them. Along the way, they arrived at their destination without any mishaps. In the center of the heavenly demon abyss, there was a towering mountain that reached into the clouds. It was 1,000,000 feet tall, like a heavenly pillar that connected heaven and earth. The heavenly demon abyss was shrouded in black demonic qi. Its aura was monstrous, ancient, and mysterious. The top of the mountain was surrounded by chaotic clouds, looking very mysterious. Heavenly Demon Mountain. For some reason, the name of the mountain naturally appeared in Zhao Ritian's mind when he got close to the mountain. It was as if there was some kind of mysterious power that directly imprinted the words Heavenly Demon Mountain in Zhao Ritian's mind. Master, this Heavenly Demon Mountain looks very extraordinary. Could it be that there are treasures inside? The three-legged golden crow asked excitedly. There should be treasures. I can feel a strong emperor's aura. Perhaps this is the place of inheritance of a great emperor. Zhao Ritian nodded as a strange look appeared in his eyes. The place of inheritance of a great emperor? The three-legged golden crow's mouth twitched. Zhao Ritian said it so easily. Did he really think that the place of inheritance of a great emperor was cabbage? Even on the Eternal Emperor's road, the place of inheritance of a great emperor was the best treasure. Ancient sky prides and monsters would fight for it. However, thinking about Zhao Ritian's heaven-defying luck, the three-legged golden crow could not help but believe it. Whoosh! The three-legged golden crow passed through the thick demonic qi and arrived at the top of the heavenly demon mountain. Boom! Just as they passed through the demonic qi, they felt a vast heavenly aura coming. It contained an unparalleled force that directly pressed down on them. The three-legged golden crow and Zhao Ritian's body trembled and fell from the sky, slamming hard on the hard mountain rocks. Ouch, it hurts. Zhao Ritian was dizzy from the fall and immediately started cursing out loud. What is this place? He stood up and looked around. In front of him was Demonic Mountain, which towered into the clouds. It was majestic and majestic. It was 1,000,000 miles tall, and he couldn't see the end of it at a glance. Zhao Ritian and the three-legged golden crow were at the foot of the Demonic Mountain. There was a white jade staircase in front of them that snaked up to the top of the mountain. In the void, strange runes flickered. The order of the Great Path intertwined, containing an incomparably terrifying energy fluctuation. This was a no-fly zone, so it was impossible to fly directly to the peak of Demonic Mountain. Furthermore, Zhao Ritian could feel that the intertwining runes and orders in the void were extremely terrifying. It was as though they could tear everything apart, causing his heart to palpitate slightly. Someone actually came. An extremely surprised voice sounded. Who are you? Get out here. Zhao Ritian and the three-legged golden crow shuddered. Instantly, they were on high alert as they looked around. Boom! With a loud bang, they saw a figure rolling down from the white jade staircase. That's right, it was rolling down. It was like a huge black rock, majestic and extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it was in front of Zhao Ritian and the three-legged golden crow. Zhao Ritian and the three-legged golden crow quickly dodged. Bang! The earth shook violently, and a human-shaped crater appeared. That figure fell in front of the two of them like a meteor. It's been 3,000 years. Finally, someone came. An extremely joyful voice sounded. The black figure patted the dust off his body and stood up from the pit as though there was no one around. He walked in front of Zhao Ritian and the three-legged golden crow. It was a young man in ragged clothes. He looked like a beggar. The hair on his body was very long, and the beard on his face covered most of his face. Only a pair of sharp and domineering eyes could be seen. However, at this moment, they were filled with joy. He wore a black boxing glove on his arm. The design was simple and very strange. Other than that, this young man was no different from a savage. You're Zhao Ritian. When the hairy young man saw Zhao Ritian, he suddenly trembled and revealed an extremely joyful expression. You recognize me? Who are you? Are you in cahoots with those bastards from the Celestial Demon Emperor City? Zhao Ritian's eyes suddenly revealed an extremely cautious look. He was sure that he had never seen this young man before. He was extremely unfamiliar. Cough cough. I know you, but you don't know me. I've been here for 3,000 years. Is the Eternal Emperor Road still around? Has anyone obtained the secret of transcendence? What's going on outside? The hairy young man coughed lightly and quickly asked with an expectant face. 3,000 years? Are you kidding me? It's only been 30 years since the Eternal Emperor Road opened. Who are you? Zhao Ritian stared at the young man in front of him and asked. Even the three-legged golden crow's face was filled with vigilance. The Grand Sun Primordial Fire surrounded its body as if it would shoot out the Grand Sun Primordial Fire if it sensed any danger. It's only been 30 years. Ha! It seems like my guess is right. The flow of time here is indeed different from the outside. Is it 100 times faster? There's still time. As long as I can reach the peak, I'll be able to leave. The hairy young man's eyes suddenly lit up with excitement. Wang! His body shone brightly, and the beard on his face disappeared. The tattered clothes on his body also disappeared, and a black robe appeared. It was as if he had changed into a different person. He had turned into a handsome and extraordinary young man. Brother Ritian, you must be joking. I've been trapped here for 3,000 years. I'm too lazy to dress myself up. The black-robed young man smiled slightly. At the same time, he was extremely emotional. He did not expect to see Zhao Ritian here. This guy was a child of wealth. He had been used by the main body so many times. Perhaps he could use him again. The black-robed young man was Dark Ling Xiao. When he entered the Eternal Emperor Road, he originally planned to kill everyone and let the Demon Lord's name spread throughout the Eternal Emperor Road. However, he did not expect to be trapped in this godforsaken place before he could even enter the Celestial Demon Emperor City. He had been trapped here for 3,000 years. In 3,000 years, not only did his cultivation not improve at all, he was still at the peak of the third heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. Moreover, he had no way of reaching the peak of the Celestial Demon Mountain. When Zhao Ritian appeared, he was about to go crazy from the torture. Who exactly are you? Zhao Ritian was very stubborn. He kept thinking about this question and looked at Dark Ling Xiao with vigilance. Although Dark Ling Xiao looked very unfamiliar, Zhao Ritian felt a sense of familiarity. It was as if he had seen him somewhere before. You can call me Demon Lord. Dark Ling Xiao smiled slightly. Demon Lord? How arrogant. You're from the demon race. Zhao Ritian's eyes flashed coldly and murderous intent surged. He hated the demon race the most in his life. Putting aside the blood feud between the human race and the demon race, the death of Zhao Ritian's father, the Heavenly Emperor, was also related to the demon race's great emperor. Hearing that Dark Ling Xiao was from the demon race, Zhao Ritian's aura rose and he was about to attack. Don't attack. There are millions of formations around here. If you attack, it will cause a chain reaction. No one will be able to survive. Dark Ling Xiao was shocked. He did not expect Zhao Ritian to hate the demon race so much. He quickly stopped him. Rumble. As if confirming Dark Ling Xiao's words, the runes and formations above their heads shone brightly when they sensed Zhao Ritian's aura. A vast pressure locked Zhao Ritian and Dark Ling Xiao in place. It was as if Zhao Ritian dared to attack, a thunderous might would immediately descend and kill them. All the demon race deserve to die. Zhao Ritian gritted his teeth and said. He looked at Dark Ling Xiao with murderous intent. However, he still chose to restrain his aura. Since he could not attack here, it would not be too late to kill Dark Ling Xiao outside. Brother Ritian, I can understand your hatred for the demon race. However, you can't just kill the demon race whenever you see one, right? Just like how there are good and bad people in the human race, there are also good and bad people in the demon race. Dark Ling Xiao said with a bitter smile. If they were to fight, he might not be afraid of Zhao Ritian. Although Zhao Ritian had many powerful trump cards, Dark Ling Xiao had the demonic armor. The demonic armor was far more terrifying than an extreme emperor weapon. You're saying that you're a good person? Zhao Ritian looked at Dark Ling Xiao suspiciously. No matter what, he could sense that Dark Ling Xiao was not a good person. Dark Ling Xiao's murderous aura was overwhelming. It was obvious that he had killed many people. Of course I'm a good person. There are those in the human race who are close to the demon race. They're called human traitors. There are also those in the human race who are close to the human race. They're called demon traitors. You're lucky that I'm a demon traitor. I hate the demon race. I hope that the human race can conquer the demon world and rule the demon race. Dark Ling Xiao said with an unnatural expression. He was speaking from the bottom of his heart. Although he had the physical body of a demon race, he was still Ling Xiao's clone. Naturally, he was not embarrassed when he said that. Demon traitor? Zhao Ritian and the three-legged golden crow were stunned. Was there anyone who was proud of being a demon traitor? For a moment, they could not figure out Dark Ling Xiao's thoughts. All in all, Brother Ritian, I don't have any enmity against you. In fact, I admire you. Since we're in the Heaven Demon Mountain, why don't we climb to the peak together? Not only is there a way out of the mountain, but there's also a powerful inheritance. Dark Ling Xiao said with utmost sincerity. The fact that he was Ling Xiao's clone was his biggest secret. He could not tell anyone, not even Zhao Ritian. Moreover, Zhao Ritian did not seem reliable. If he was not the son of a heavenly emperor, he would have been killed a long time ago. First, tell me why you've been trapped here for 3,000 years. Is there something strange about the Heaven Demon Mountain? Zhao Ritian asked noncommittally. That's right. The Heaven Demon Mountain has a no-fly zone. It's surrounded by layers of formations that contain extreme emperor aura. It's extremely terrifying. From my observation, I've discovered that there are at least 1 million formations here. Dark Ling Xiao said slowly. He thought to himself that Zhao Ritian was not stupid after all. 1 million formations? Zhao Ritian and the three-legged golden crow were shocked. That's right. Therefore, you can enter the Heaven Demon Mountain, but you can't leave. The entire Heaven Demon Mountain is a forbidden area. Only this white jade staircase can lead to the peak. However, there's a formation on each of the white jade staircase. If you want to reach the peak, you'll have to break the formations continuously. The reason why I've been trapped here for 3,000 years is because I've been breaking the formations continuously. Dark Ling Xiao said with a wry smile. In the past 3,000 years, his attainments in formations had improved by leaps and bounds. However, Dark Ling Xiao's time in the past 3,000 years was also extremely miserable. 1 million stone staircases meant 1 million formations. The higher he went, the more terrifying the formation's power was. Zhao Ritian and the three-legged golden crow were skeptical of Dark Ling Xiao's words. However, after they checked, their expressions turned extremely ugly. Indeed, there was a formation on each of the stone staircases. Moreover, these formations seemed to be one with the Heaven Demon Mountain. Even if the formations were broken, the formations would be restored. If one fell from the mountain, they would have to start all over again. The densely packed white jade staircase made one feel despair just by looking at it. A million formations protecting this heaven demon mountain. There must be a powerful inheritance on it that defies the heavens. Zhao Ritian said with a burning gaze. Isn't that so? However, my attainments in formations are too weak. That's why I've been trapped here for 3,000 years. However, Brother Ritian is the son of the Emperor of Heaven. You have great luck and fortune. I'm sure breaking the formations should be a piece of cake for you. Dark Ling Xiao said with a smile. These formations may be powerful, but they can't stop me, Zhao Ritian. Zhao Ritian said with a proud smile. He had just checked and found that the array on the first stone step was only a saint rank array. However, the formation on the second stone staircase was much more powerful. However, Zhao Ritian was not worried at all. In his opinion, breaking the formation was such a troublesome thing. Why bother? As long as he was strong enough, he could just push his way up. Then it's up to Brother Ritian. I'm willing to follow Brother Ritian and reach the peak together. Dark Ling Xiao said respectfully. He knew from his main body that Zhao Ritian was someone who could be persuaded by reason but not cowed by force. Following him was the right thing to do. Now, it seemed like Zhao Ritian was really going to break the formation. Master, I think this guy has bad intentions. He wants you to help him break the formation. The three-legged golden crow said to Zhao Ritian. Of course I know that. Does he really think I'm stupid? However, there must be a powerful inheritance on this heaven demon mountain. Breaking the formation won't be helping him. I'd like to see if he dares to compete with me for the inheritance. Zhao Ritian said with a disdainful smile. Boom! Zhao Ritian's blood and qi rose. A bright light bloomed and his entire person exuded an otherworldly aura. He looked at the heaven demon mountain in front of him with a proud expression. He took a step forward and stepped onto the white jade staircase. P.S. A 4,000-word chapter. With 2 chapters and the 3 chapters in the morning, I've updated 10,000 words today. Unknowingly, I've already written more than 2,000 chapters. In order to make it easier to split the chapters, I'll combine 2 chapters into one in the future. It'll be 4,000 words per chapter. From now on, Twilight Rain will publish as much as she writes. The daily update will not be less than 4,000 words. Everyone, rest early. Peak. Chapter 32-25. The blood qi around Zhao Ritian was like a dragon, as if it was cast in gold. The golden glow caused the surrounding void to tremble slightly. This was the bloodline of the Heavenly Emperor. It was majestic and majestic. Even though the Heavenly Emperor had fallen, it was still a reminder of his existence in another way. Zhao Ritian is the son of the Heavenly Emperor. He has many trump cards. Perhaps he can reach the peak faster than me. As long as he can reach the peak within 3,000 years, I can still make it to the Eternal Emperor Road. Dark Ling Xiao thought to himself as he looked at Zhao Ritian with anticipation. These millions of formations had tortured him for 3,000 years, causing him to lose his temper. Now, he could only place his hopes on Zhao Ritian. Maybe I don't need 3,000 years. Maybe 1,000 years will be enough. For some reason, after seeing Zhao Ritian, Dark Ling Xiao felt a little more confident in himself. Boom! Zhao Ritian took a step onto the white jade stone steps. The void trembled as the runes exploded. The formation on the stone steps popped like a bubble and burst apart. Zhao Ritian chose to break the formation with brute force. But the formation at the back is not something that can be broken with brute force. Dark Ling Xiao was surprised. Boom! Zhao Ritian took another step forward, and the array on the second stone step instantly shattered as well. Just like that, every time Zhao Ritian took a step, a formation would burst. It was as if they could not stop Zhao Ritian at all. They burst like bubbles. How? How is this possible? Dark High Firmament's eyes widened in disbelief. Zhao Ritian had already ascended more than 100 stone steps. According to his experience with Darkness Soaring Firmament, the array above the 100 stone steps had to be found in order to break through. However, Zhao Ritian was still trying to break through the array with brute force. None of the grand arrays seemed to be able to stop Zhao Ritian as they all shattered beneath his feet. 100 stone steps. 200 stone steps. 1,000 stone steps. 2,000 stone steps. In the end, Dark Lingxiao's face turned green. Damn it! Those formations have no effect on Zhao Ritian. Damn it! Why is he so interested in me? Dark Lingxiao gritted his teeth and said, feeling extremely depressed in his heart. Only now did he finally see it clearly. It was not Zhao Ritian breaking the arrays with brute force. It was clear that the arrays melted like snow after sensing Zhao Ritian's aura. To Dark Soaring Sky, the million arrays were like a giant beast. However, to Zhao Ritian, they were like a million bubbles. In other words, Zhao Ritian did not break the formation at all. He was just climbing the mountain normally. With Zhao Ritian's speed, how could it take him 3,000 years? Zhao Ritian would probably reach the peak in less than 3 days. Is this the luck and fortune of the son of the Celestial Emperor? Dark Firmament's heart was filled with bitterness, and he felt a toothache. In the demonic world, he killed decisively. No one in the same realm as him was his match. He had also obtained the inheritance of the Chaos Demonic clan and was known as the Demonic Lord. He was extremely proud. But today, he understood the taste of jealousy. That Devil Master, right? Is this the million-strong array you mentioned? There's no difficulty at all. You've actually been trapped here for 3,000 years. Zhao Ritian stood on the stone steps and turned around to look at Dark Firmament. His eyes were filled with doubt. From Zhao Ritian's point of view, there was indeed a grand formation on each of the stone steps. However, the grand formations were pitifully weak. In fact, he did not even need to lift a finger for the grand formations to be destroyed. Such a weak array could actually trap that guy who was known as the Demon Lord. How weak was that guy? Dark Firmament's face darkened. He felt as though a million divine beasts were roaring in his heart. I don't believe it today. Is Zhao Ritian really the son of the Celestial Emperor? Damn it, I'm not convinced. Dark Firmament cursed in his heart. With a darkened face, he ran up the white jade steps. Rumble. On the stone steps, the arrays shone brightly. Runes rose up as though they were completely awakened, bursting with terrifying energy. Dark Firmament was surrounded by a monstrous demonic aura. His aura was incomparably terrifying. He was too lazy to break the arrays. Instead, he charged into the arrays with brute force. In an instant, he broke through hundreds of arrays. However, Dark Firmament realized that the higher he went, the greater the pressure. The power of the arrays even stacked together. It was like a tsunami that pressed down on his body. The higher he went, the slower his speed became. Damn it! Dark Firmament roared in his heart. He was incomparably angry. He could feel the deep malice of the demonic mountain. When Dark Firmament stepped on the 1,000th stone step, the invincible divine power surged and suppressed his body in an instant, blasting him down from the stone steps. Bang! Dark Firmament was like a huge rock as he crashed into the foot of the mountain, creating a human-shaped crater. These arrays are so terrifying. It seems that the Devil Master didn't lie to me. However, why didn't the arrays react to me? Zhao Ritian was stunned. Looking at the scene before him, he realized that the Devil Master was not weak. It was just that the million-strong arrays were not targeting him. Instead, they were all targeting the Devil Master. How pitiful! Master, you are indeed the illegitimate son of the heavenly axiom. On Zhao Ritian's shoulder, the three-legged golden crow looked at Dark Firmament with sympathy. His admiration for Zhao Ritian was incomparable. What was luck? This was luck. Dark Firmament lay at the foot of the demonic mountain. He felt very hurt, and his face was full of despair. Master, should we help this guy? How pitiful, he has been trapped for 3,000 years. The three-legged golden crow said in a muffled voice. The people of the demonic clan are all evil people. Why should I care about his death? Let him be trapped here until he dies. Zhao Ritian sneered. His eyes were full of pride. Although they could not fight here, it was a good idea to let Dark Firmament be trapped here until he dies. Let's bring him along. He has Firmament's aura on him. He should be related to Firmament. At that moment, an old voice rang in Zhao Ritian's mind. Second Master, you're awake. Zhao Ritian's eyes lit up as he asked in surprise. Previously, after entering the Eternal Emperor Road, the Second Master fell into a deep sleep for some reason. Now, he was finally awake. Without the Second Master, Zhao Ritian felt like he had lost his backbone. You said that this guy has Firmament's aura on him. Could he really be a demonic traitor? Zhao Ritian's face was full of suspicion. It's possible. However, the aura on his body is hidden very well. If I didn't know Firmament very well, and if he didn't accidentally leak it when he was charging the array, I wouldn't have noticed it. The Second Master said slowly. If that's the case, let's bring him along. This guy has been trapped for 3,000 years. He's really pitiful. Zhao Ritian nodded and said. Dark Firmament struggled to stand up. He looked extremely sad. However, he realized that Zhao Ritian was walking down the demonic mountain step by step. Demon Lord, you dare to call yourself the Demon Lord with your weak cultivation? Aren't you afraid of being laughed at? Do you want to leave this place? As long as you beg me, I'll bring you away. Zhao Ritian looked at Darkness Ling Xiao for a moment and laughed proudly. Brother Ritian, please bring me away from this place. If there's any inheritance or treasure at the peak of the demonic mountain, I don't want anything. I'll just follow you from now on. How about that? Darkness Ling Xiao resisted the urge to tear apart Zhao Ritian's smug face as he squeezed out a smile and said. Fine. Seeing that you're so sincere, I'll bring you away from here. However, after we leave this place, you'll be my guard. Don't be soft-hearted when you see the demonic tribe. Do you understand? Zhao Ritian stood with his hands behind his back, looking at the sky at a 45-degree angle and smiled faintly. Understood. Don't worry, Brother Ritian. I'll be your guard from now on. I'll kill whoever you ask me to. Dark Firmament nodded repeatedly. However, he was gritting his teeth in anger. This Zhao Ritian was asking for a beating. After leaving the demonic mountain, he would beat this guy up no matter what. However, Dark Firmament had his doubts. The demonic chi on the demonic mountain was extremely pure. Logically speaking, even if there was a powerful inheritance, it should be related to the demonic tribe. However, why was Zhao Ritian not affected by the formation? Could it be that this place had something to do with the Heavenly Emperor? That's right. If that's the case, then come with me. Zhao Ritian nodded satisfyingly. Golden blood chi surged around his body, enveloping Dark Firmament. Then, he stepped onto the white jade stairs. Just as Dark Firmament had guessed, with the protection of Zhao Ritian's golden blood chi, the formation did not react to him at all and shattered one after another. Zhao Ritian stood with his hands behind his back, strolling leisurely towards the peak of the demonic mountain. His expression was calm, but the arrogance and pride in his eyes could not be concealed. Damn it, I've been hunting geese all day, but now I've been pecked in the eye by the geese. Looks like my original body was right. This Zhao Ritian's luck is heaven-defying to the extreme. Perhaps it's not a bad idea to follow him. This guy doesn't look too smart. If he comes across any treasure, I'm afraid it'll be easy to trick him. Dark Firmament secretly thought to himself. Originally, he wanted to teach Zhao Ritian a lesson after leaving the demonic mountain. However, he changed his mind now. It might be more useful to coax Zhao Ritian. Just like that, the demonic mountain that had trapped Dark Firmament for 3,000 years was like flat ground under Zhao Ritian's feet. They headed towards the peak of the demonic mountain. The surroundings were filled with clouds and mist. Demonic chi rose, and chaotic light bloomed. It was a strange scene. Although the formation's power was not activated, Zhao Ritian could still feel the terror of the formation on the demonic mountain. The extreme emperor's aura filled the air as if it could destroy everything. This was definitely a supreme emperor formation. If it were not for Zhao Ritian, dark firmament would probably be trapped here forever. It would be almost impossible for him to break out of the flawless emperor formation. The demonic mountain was millions of miles tall. It was like a heavenly pillar that connected heaven and earth. Its aura was grand, ancient, and majestic. However, under Zhao Ritian's feet, there were no obstacles. It was like a smooth path to the heavens. Soon, the peak of the mountain was in sight. On the peak of the mountain, chaotic mist lingered. An ancient pine tree stood on the peak, exuding an eternal and immortal aura. For some reason, when Zhao Ritian and Dark Firmament saw the ancient pine tree, they both felt a strong and endless vitality. "This is," second uncle's voice rang in Zhao Ritian's mind. It was filled with surprise and excitement. "Second uncle, you recognize this place? Are there any treasures here?" Zhao Ritian's eyes lit up. "Quickly go up. It's a fortune. It's really a great fortune," second eldest uncle urged with great excitement. Hearing second uncle's words, Zhao Ritian did not hesitate at all. He quickly walked up to the peak of the demonic mountain. Just as they reached the peak of the demonic mountain, the surrounding void vibrated. Chaotic mist rose, and the ancient pine tree emitted a bright light. An incomparably gentle light enveloped Dark Firmament, Zhao Ritian, and the three-legged golden crow. Majestic vitality surged and surged into their bodies, causing their bodies to tremble. They instantly felt incomparably comfortable. Especially Dark Firmament. His cultivation had already reached the peak of the third heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. After being suppressed here for 3,000 years, his foundation was incomparably strong. Now that he had absorbed a trace of vitality, he actually showed signs of breaking through. On the ancient pine tree, there were 2 pine cones. One was completely golden and crystal clear like glass, while the other was completely black and surrounded by pure demonic chi. "It's really a fruit of the great path." "Ha ha ha, Ritian, you're really going to be rich this time. However, I'm afraid that Demon Lord is going to benefit. I didn't expect there to be a fruit of the great path with demonic attributes." Second uncle's voice sounded. He was extremely excited. "Second uncle, what's a fruit of the great path?" Zhao Ritian asked curiously. "A fruit of the great path is a fruit of the great path condensed in the body of a great emperor. It contains the Taoist rhyme of a great path and is extremely precious. If a peerless imperial emperor obtains a fruit of the great path and comprehends the Taoist rhyme within, there's a chance for him to become an emperor," second uncle explained. "What? After swallowing a fruit of the great path, there's a chance for him to become an emperor?" Zhao Ritian was also shocked. His eyes were filled with incomparable shock. This was indeed a heaven-defying treasure. No wonder second uncle was so excited. If a peerless imperial emperor was here and saw these 2 fruits of the great path, he would probably rush over to fight for them. "Why are there fruits of the great path here?" Zhao Ritian asked doubtfully. "If I'm not wrong, there should be 2 great emperors buried in Heaven Demon Mountain. Their Taoist rhyme transformed into heaven and earth, and at the same time, a trace of Taoist rhyme remained. Under extremely special conditions, it was nurtured for hundreds of millions of years before it could condense a fruit of the great path," second uncle said with great emotion. "There are 2 great emperors buried in Heaven Demon Mountain." Zhao Ritian was also shocked. One of them should be a great emperor of the demon race. As for the other one, I'm not sure. However, you don't have to think about it. They should have perished together after a great battle. That's why they transformed into Taoist rhyme and condensed a fruit of the great path. As for the rest, there shouldn't be anything left." Second uncle seemed to understand Zhao Ritian's thoughts and explained. "Then, where did this million heavy formation come from?" Zhao Ritian asked curiously. It was obvious that the million heavy formation was deliberately set up by someone. It was not naturally formed. If I'm not wrong, this million-heavy formation should have been left behind by the Heavenly Emperor. At that time, he should have also discovered the fruits of the Great Path. However, the fruits of the Great Path had not ripened yet. That's why he set up the formation. That's why the formation did not have any effect on you after sensing the aura of your bloodline. Second uncle said with some emotion. My father. Zhao Ritian's eyes revealed a hint of a complicated expression. He did not expect it to be another legacy of the Heavenly Emperor. However, what puzzled him was that this million-heavy formation was clearly a Supreme Emperor formation. Moreover, it was a complete Supreme Emperor formation. When the Heavenly Emperor conquered Eternal Emperor Road, he had not yet proven his Tao and became an emperor. How did he set up a perfect Supreme Emperor formation? Although swallowing the fruits of the Great Path will not allow you to immediately prove your Tao and become a sage, it will allow you to overcome any bottlenecks before becoming a great emperor. Even if you prove your Tao in the future, you will have a better chance than others. This is the foundation of proving your Tao. You must not miss it. Second uncle said slowly. Chapter 32-26. Arriving at the peak of Demonic Mountain, Dark Lingxiao's gaze immediately fell on the black pine cone. Although Dark Lingxiao did not know what it was, he instinctively felt that it was an incredible treasure. The three-legged golden crow looked at the two fruits of the Great Path with shining eyes and drooling. The fruits of the Great Path were ethereal and mysterious. They would show various shapes, just like the pine cone in front of them. It was not a real pine cone. However, the ethereal and mysterious aura of the Great Path on the fruits of the Great Path could not be faked. Divine chains of order intertwined and the runes were dazzling. The fruits of the Great Path looked as if they had been blessed by fate. They were extremely mysterious and had a soul-stirring power. Boom! As if sensing the aura of the fruits of the Great Path, Dark Lingxiao, Zhao Ritian, and the three-legged golden crow unconsciously released their aura. Dark Lingxiao was surrounded by a monstrous demonic aura. Chaotic light surged and a murderous aura filled the air. It was as if he was a chaotic demon from ancient times, exuding an unparalleled aura. On the other hand, Zhao Ritian was covered in golden light. His golden armor was extraordinary, making him look like a god descending from the heavens. His eyes contained the sun and the moon, as well as the starry sky. The three-legged golden crow's body was covered in flames. The true sun fire was extremely hot, as if it could burn everything. The three-legged golden crow bathed in the true sun fire, exuding a royal aura. Buzz! The ancient pine tree in front of them trembled slightly. The two fruits of the Great Path seemed to have sensed their aura and instantly flew over like a stream of light, directly merging into Dark Lingxiao and Zhao Ritian's bodies. After the fruits of the Great Path fell, the ancient pine tree turned into a majestic life force. It was vast and unparalleled, like a heavenly river crossing the sky and merging into the three-legged golden crow's body. Rumble! Chaotic light instantly rose around Dark Lingxiao, Zhao Ritian, and the three-legged golden crow. It was as if flames were burning, enveloping all three of them. That guy took advantage of me. A thought flashed through Zhao Ritian's mind. He was instinctively unhappy. In fact, he did not want to give the demonic fruit of the Great Path to Dark Lingxiao. However, he did not expect the fruit of the Great Path to choose its owner. Zhao Ritian had no time to think. He sat down cross-legged on the demonic mountain and began to refine the fruit of the way. When the fruit of the Great Path entered his body, it was as if the primordial chaos had split the heaven and earth apart. It directly exploded, and the bright light enveloped his entire body. The majestic origin energy was like a raging river. It was incomparably pure, pushing Zhao Ritian's aura to skyrocket. However, the origin energy within the fruit of the way was only secondary. The most important thing was the Taoist rhyme it contained. Zhao Ritian's body glowed brightly as a faint smile appeared on his face. It was as if he had just been enlightened. There was the sound of a bell ringing in his ears as a mysterious Taoist rhyme gushed into his sea of consciousness. His indestructible primordial spirit began to comprehend it. Zhao Ritian's primordial spirit became increasingly clear and translucent. It also emitted a transcendent aura. It was the same for Dark Lingxiao. The black fruit of the Great Path contained the purest heavenly demon Taoist rhyme. It echoed in his ears, making him suddenly enlightened. It was as if all the truths of heaven and earth had appeared in front of him clearly. Dark Lingxiao was a clone of Dark Lingxiao from the origin demonic bone. Later on, he cultivated the darkness imperial scripture and the light imperial scripture at the same time. He comprehended both the great path of darkness and the great path of light at the same time. However, when Dark Lingxiao transformed into a chaos demon, the great path of darkness and the great path of light also merged into the primordial chaos at the same time. Therefore, Dark Lingxiao was now comprehending the great path of chaos. His entire body was immersed in the great path of chaos. His aura began to skyrocket rapidly. His cultivation that had not improved for 3,000 years also rapidly broke through. Fourth Heaven of the Imperial Emperor Realm. Early Fourth Heaven of the Imperial Emperor Realm. Middle Fourth Heaven of the Imperial Emperor Realm. Late Fourth Heaven of the Imperial Emperor Realm. Complete Fourth Heaven of the Imperial Emperor Realm. The majestic origin energy contained in the fruit of the Great Path was incomparably pure. Coupled with the supreme Taoist rhyme within it, Dark Lingxiao's cultivation began to improve by leaps and bounds. Although the three-legged golden crow only obtained the life essence contained in the ancient pine tree, it was also mixed with a trace of Taoist rhyme. It was enough to allow its cultivation to break through to the fourth heaven of the Imperial Emperor Realm. The heaven-defying fortune on Demonic Mountain caused the cultivation of Zhao Ritian, Dark Lingxiao, and the three-legged golden crow to improve by leaps and bounds. Just as they sat cross-legged on the peak of Demonic Mountain, comprehending the Taoist rhyme, refining the fruit of the Great Path, and improving their cultivation, they did not know that a dazzling phenomenon was blooming in Demonic Abyss. Demonic Mountain rumbled as if there were bolts of lightning interweaving. It was mysterious and vast. At the same time, it bloomed with thousands of rays of light and thousands of auspicious colors, shocking the entire Demonic Abyss. The demonic chi and the primordial mist that enveloped Demonic Mountain also began to slowly dissipate. The million formations were also gradually destroyed. The power source of the million formations was Demonic Mountain and the fruit of the Great Path. Now that the fruit of the Great Path had an owner, the million formations lost their meaning of existence. The originally mysterious Demonic Mountain, which was full of all kinds of dangers, appeared in Demonic Abyss for the first time. What's that? Could it be that a rare treasure has appeared? Let's go and take a look. Maybe Zhao Ritian is there. At this moment, a group of trial takers in Demonic Abyss were also alarmed by the phenomenon that erupted on Demonic Mountain. They were the trial takers who were chasing after Zhao Ritian. Especially the four powerhouses in the lead, their cultivation had already reached the eighth heaven of the Imperial Emperor Realm. They were only one step away from becoming a peerless Imperial Emperor. At this moment, all the trial takers were a little scared. They could not help but look in the direction of Demonic Mountain. The Taoist rhyme there was intertwined with order. It was as if there was something precious, causing them to involuntarily yearn for it. Under the lead of the four powerhouses, many trial takers flew towards Demonic Mountain. In Demonic Abyss, many powerful prehistoric demonic beasts were also alarmed. One by one, they let out earth-shattering roars. Although in the memories of those prehistoric demonic beasts, Demonic Mountain was a forbidden area and they would definitely die if they entered, the phenomenon at this moment still made them involuntarily approach. There were even some prehistoric mutants who forcefully suppressed the fear and panic in their hearts and headed towards Demonic Mountain. Because of the phenomenon on Demonic Mountain, the entire Demonic Abyss seemed to have begun to shake. However, the test in Demonic Emperor City had not yet begun, so there were no other trial takers. Otherwise, Demonic Abyss would be even more chaotic. Among the many trial takers, the four leaders were called Emperor Demonic Spirit, Emperor Demonic Flame, Emperor Absolute Sword, and Emperor Tianxiang. The four of them were also famous among the trial takers in Demonic Emperor City. This time, the four of them were also the leaders of the hunt for Zhao Ritian. The 4 of them had extremely powerful cultivation bases. In addition to the help of many trial takers, their strength was monstrous. Otherwise, Zhao Ritian would not have fled. Soon, the 4 emperors arrived at Demonic Mountain. At this moment, the demonic chi and chaotic mist around Demonic Mountain had dissipated. The million formations had also returned to nothingness. The no-fly zone had disappeared, allowing them to easily fly to the peak of Demonic Mountain. That was also the source of the phenomenon on Demonic Mountain. It really is Zhao Ritian. A cold light flashed in the eyes of the 4 emperors as they saw Zhao Ritian sitting cross-legged on the peak of Demonic Mountain. At this moment, Darkness Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, and the 3-legged golden crow were surrounded by Taoist rhymes. Their auras were unfathomable. In particular, the Taoist rhymes that permeated their surroundings made the 4 great emperors' eyes burn with passion. This is Demonic Mountain. Originally, Demonic Mountain was a forbidden area. Anyone who entered would die. Now that it has become like this, they must have obtained some treasure. Emperor Demonic Spirit said greedily. That's right. No wonder we couldn't find any trace of Zhao Ritian. It turns out that he hid in Demonic Mountain. This kid is really lucky. He actually profited from a disaster. Emperor Demonic Flame's eyes were also filled with jealousy. He clearly saw that Zhao Ritian's cultivation was originally only at the 6th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm, but now he had broken through to the 7th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. He had already entered the high-level Imperial Emperor realm. Fellow Taoists, this Zhao Ritian is said to be the son of the Celestial Emperor. He has many trump cards and is not easy to deal with. Let's attack together and kill him. We'll split the fortune equally. How about that? Emperor Tianxiang's eyes flashed as he smiled charmingly. Agreed. Agreed. The other 3 emperors nodded at the same time. Greed filled their eyes as blazing killing intent rose. The 4 emperors secretly reached an agreement through voice transmission. They no longer hesitated. With an order, they charged towards Darkness Ling Xiao and the other 2 together with the other cultivators. Rumble. Rays of blazing divine light rose as powerful weapons erupted with peerless divine power. Terrifying attacks gathered into a torrent that enveloped Darkness Ling Xiao and the other 2. At this moment, runes rose around Darkness Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, and the 3-legged golden crow. Order intertwined, and the aura of the Great Path condensed, forming a huge transparent barrier that protected the 3 of them. The terrifying attacks blasted on the barrier, causing a rumble that shook heaven and earth. However, it did not affect the barrier at all. How could this be? The 4 great imperial emperors shuddered. Their eyes were filled with bewilderment. Boom! 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 Darkness Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, and the 3-legged golden crow seemed to have sensed the attack from the outside world. Dazzling light burst out from their bodies and soared into the sky like smoke signals. They opened their eyes at the same time. You're courting death. Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with killing intent. His aura was extremely cold, and his body emitted a monstrous murderous aura. He instantly shot into the sky and punched towards Emperor Demonic Spirit. Peak 5th Heaven Imperial Emperor Realm. After refining the fruit of the Great Tao, Darkness Ling Xiao's cultivation had broken through 2 small realms. He threw out a punch, and his demonic armor also emitted a strange light. The void seemed to have solidified. The unparalleled fist contained an unparalleled power that could split the heavens and earth, and instantly enveloped Emperor Demonic Spirit. You're courting death. Emperor Demonic Spirit was furious. His hair and beard fluttered as monstrous demonic aura rose from his body. It was like chains that wrapped around Darkness Ling Xiao. At the same time, he opened his mouth and spat out a black light beam that pierced through the void and shot towards Darkness Ling Xiao's forehead. Boom! Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes were incomparably cold as killing intent surged around him. His unparalleled fist broke through everything, annihilating the black beam of light and the chains formed by the surrounding demonic chi. In an instant, he arrived in front of Emperor Demon Spirit. What? Emperor Demonic Spirit's body trembled as his eyes were filled with disbelief. The expressions of the surrounding 3 imperial emperors also changed drastically. They shouted angrily and charged towards Darkness Lingxiao, wanting to save Emperor Demonic Spirit. They didn't expect that this black-robed youth, who was only a 5th Heaven Imperial Emperor, would be so ferocious that even Emperor Demonic Spirit fell into a dangerous situation. Boom! Darkness Lingxiao seemed to ignore the 3 Imperial Emperors. Killing intent surged in his eyes as he locked onto Emperor Demonic Spirit. The demonic armor contained a power that could seal, destroy, and freeze everything. It instantly landed on Emperor Demonic Spirit's chest. Emperor Demonic Spirit's body trembled as his eyes suddenly popped out. After that, the other 3 imperial monarchs saw an extremely horrifying scene. Emperor Demonic Spirit seemed to have been drained of all his vitality in an instant. His entire body turned into ashes and disappeared between heaven and earth. What? The Demonic Flame Emperor, the Solitary Sword Emperor, and the Celestial Incense Emperor all shuddered. They retreated as if they were facing a great enemy, pulling apart the distance between them and Darkness Lingxiao. Their eyes were filled with uncertainty. Emperor Demonic Spirit was a veteran imperial emperor with many tricks up his sleeve. He could even hold on for a period of time in the hands of a peerless imperial emperor. But now, he couldn't even withstand a single punch from Darkness Lingxiao. Moreover, he was killed in such a strange way. You. Who exactly are you? Emperor Demonic Flame was shocked and furious as he stared at Darkness Lingxiao and said coldly. Darkness Lingxiao stood in the air, his expression incomparably cold and callous. The baleful aura around him towered up to the heavens. His demonic armor glowed with a blood-red light, as though the life force he had devoured was being absorbed by the demonic armor, while the rest was being absorbed by Darkness Lingxiao. Darkness Lingxiao stood there like a peerless demon. His might was unparalleled and terrifying to the extreme. So powerful. Zhao Ritian's pupils suddenly constricted as he took a deep look at Darkness Lingxiao. He knew how powerful Emperor Demonic Spirit was and naturally knew how much power was needed to kill Emperor Demonic Spirit with a single punch. Darkness Lingxiao wasn't as weak as he had imagined. Instead, he was extremely powerful. After breaking free, he no longer had the same attitude as before. Instead, he became cruel and cold with unparalleled demonic might. Regardless, Darkness Lingxiao was now a friend and not an enemy. Zhao Ritian rode the 3-legged golden crow to Darkness Lingxiao's side and stood side by side with him. Let's see who can kill more people. How about that? Darkness Lingxiao smiled at Zhao Ritian indifferently. His smile was evil and cold. Vulgar. Let's do it. Who's afraid of who? Zhao Ritian smiled proudly. If you lose, then you'll be my follower. Darkness Lingxiao said provocatively. Bastard. That's not what you said before. You said you'll follow me and obey my orders. Are you going back on your words? Zhao Ritian said angrily. If you want to be the big brother, you must have the strength to be the big brother. If you win, I'll naturally keep my promise. But if you lose, do you think you're qualified for me to follow you? Darkness Lingxiao smiled faintly. Let's do it. Let me tell you, I want you as my follower. After being provoked by Darkness Lingxiao, Zhao Ritian immediately agreed without hesitation. His eyes were filled with a strong fighting spirit. It's a deal. Darkness Lingxiao smiled faintly as the corner of his lips curled up. This silly kid took the bait. Chapter 32-27. I am the Demon Lord. Darkness Lingxiao's lips curled into a cruel smile. His eyes were cold and filled with bloodthirsty killing intent. He soared into the sky, and the demonic aura around him surged into the sky. Chaotic light spewed out, and an ancient and ferocious aura spread out. It was as if an ancient divine demon had come to this world, causing the faces of the trial takers to change drastically. Most of the trial takers before him were from the demon clan. When they heard Darkness Lingxiao's arrogant words, they were all shocked and furious. However, before they could reprimand Dark Soaring Heavens had already charged over. Crack! The demonic armor released a blazing light that connected with Darkness Lingxiao's aura, causing his aura to become extremely terrifying. Darkness Lingxiao threw out a punch. The demonic armor was ancient, as if an ancient demonic mountain was about to descend. A few trial takers were caught off guard and could not block Darkness Lingxiao's punch at all. The moment they came into contact with the demonic armor, they exploded into a bloody mist. Although it was not difficult for an imperial emperor to be reborn from a drop of blood, the demonic armor did not give them any chance at all. Their flesh and primordial spirits were instantly devoured by the demonic armor. Streaks of bright red blood appeared on the black demonic armor, making it look even more sinister. The demonic armor's power merged with Zhao Ritian's, allowing him to unleash an extremely terrifying combat strength. He was like a tiger that had entered a flock of sheep, slaughtering the trial takers. Damn it! Where did Zhao Ritian find such a helper? How can he be so strong? The demonic flame emperor, absolute sword emperor, and sky incense emperor's expressions were extremely ugly, and they were extremely puzzled. Although Darkness Lingxiao's cultivation was only at the mid-level imperial emperor, he unleashed a power that was extremely terrifying for a high-level imperial emperor. Xiao San, we can't fall behind. These bastards dared to hunt us down before. Today, we'll make them pay with interest. Zhao Ritian also let out a loud roar as he charged towards the crowd of challengers. After refining the fruit of Tao, Zhao Ritian's cultivation had skyrocketed, and his strength had also increased by a lot. At this moment, he hated these trial takers to the core, so he did not show any mercy. Rumble. The Yen Emperor Cauldron soared into the sky like a mountain, ancient and majestic. It spewed out endless Yen Emperor's fire, turning the area into a sea of fire. Sword Qi surged from Zhao Ritian's hand as the Heavenly Tao Emperor sword appeared. This was the Emperor's sword that once belonged to the Heavenly Emperor. As soon as it appeared, it gave off a chilling glow. Sword Qi swept across hundreds of millions of miles, cleaving through the 9 heavens with a single strike. The Heavenly Tao Emperor's sword was extremely sharp. Sword Qi surged into the clouds and could destroy everything. Those cultivators with lower cultivation levels were unable to withstand the Heavenly Tao Emperor's sword and died in the hands of Zhao Ritian. The 3-legged golden crow also emitted a dazzling glow. The true fire of the sun rose and fell from the sky like sharp swords. Its aura was vast and mighty, and it emitted the pressure of an emperor. This prehistoric divine beast had once shone brilliantly in the ancient times. Although it was usually very obedient in front of Zhao Ritian, it still revealed its ferocious side at this moment. Some of the low-level and mid-level emperors were engulfed by the true fire of the sun and were instantly injured. Then, the 3-legged golden crow opened its blood basin and swallowed them into its stomach. Zhao Ritian took out the Emperor Yen Cauldron and the Heavenly Tao Emperor's sword at the same time. With the 3-legged golden crow, the speed at which he killed the cultivators was not inferior to Darkness Lingxiao. The two of them were like two prehistoric beasts that plunged into the crowd of cultivators. They broke through the formation of the cultivators and started a massacre. There were at least a few hundred challengers chasing after Zhao Ritian. Previously, under the leadership of the 4 great emperors, they formed a powerful formation. In addition, there were more and more cultivators gathering. Zhao Ritian did not dare to fight and could only flee. Now, with the addition of Darkness Lingxiao, he was like a prehistoric beast that scattered the cultivators. He killed in all directions, making it impossible for them to form an effective counterattack. Most of the hundreds of trial takers were low-level and mid-level imperial emperors. These people were no match for Darkness Soaring Sky and Zhao Ritian. They were all killed by them. In the end, the cultivators were scared out of their wits. Many of them began to flee in all directions. Boom! Darkness Lingxiao's demonic aura was monstrous. His demonic armor had turned blood red. It was unknown how many living beings it had devoured. It was extremely strange. He punched out and stopped the demonic flame emperor who was trying to escape. He smashed his body into pieces. The demonic flame emperor's primordial spirit struggled to escape, but it was smashed into pieces by the demonic armor and devoured. Zhao Ritian's heavenly Tao emperor sword was incomparably sharp. It constantly clashed with the absolute sword emperor, causing him to tremble and retreat. In the end, the Emperor Yen Cauldron suppressed him and killed him completely. In the blink of an eye, 3 of the 4 great emperors were dead. Only the Heavenly Incense Emperor was left. The Heavenly Incense Emperor was beautiful and had a voluptuous figure. However, at this moment, she was pale and her face was pale. 3 of the 4 great emperors were dead. Originally, the cultivators who were ready to capture and kill Zhao Ritian were now either dead or running away. All that was left were corpses all over the ground. It was like a scene straight out of hell. The strength of darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian had exceeded her imagination. The Heavenly Incense Emperor wanted to escape, but she did not have the chance. Zhao Ritian and darkness Ling Xiao had stopped her. "Let me go. I promise that I will never be your enemy again. If you don't believe me, I can swear a heavenly Tao oath." The Heavenly Incense Emperor's face was pale as she gritted her teeth and said. Although she looked very calm, her heart was incomparably flustered, and her voice unconsciously trembled a little. "Let you go? You're overthinking it. Since you dare to hunt me down, you should be prepared to die," Zhao Ritian said with killing intent. His eyes were filled with killing intent. The Heavenly Tao Emperor's sword emitted a strange light. The sword aura rose and was extremely sharp. The Emperor Yen Cauldron was ancient and mysterious. It floated in the void. The Emperor Yan's flames surged and could burn everything. The 2 extreme Tao Emperor weapons had locked onto the Heavenly Incense Emperor. She did not dare to act rashly. The Heavenly Incense Emperor's face instantly turned pale, and a trace of despair appeared in his eyes. She was already injured. Now that she was locked onto by darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian, she knew that she could not escape. Her body began to tremble. Even if she was an emperor, she would not be so calm in the face of death. Between life and death, there was great terror. Just when the Heavenly Incense Emperor thought that she was going to die, darkness Ling Xiao stopped Zhao Ritian. "Brother Ritian, wait. Why don't you let her live?" Darkness Ling Xiao said with a wicked smile. His eyes were filled with aggression. He looked at the Heavenly Incense Emperor in front of him without restraint. It was like a sharp knife, making the Heavenly Incense Emperor uncomfortable. "Let her live. What are you trying to do?" Zhao Ritian asked curiously. "Heavenly Incense Emperor, if I'm not wrong, you should have the Earth Cauldron's sacred body, right?" Darkness Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. "You? How did you know?" The Heavenly Incense Emperor's body trembled. Her eyes were filled with shock. Almost no one knew that she had the Earth Cauldron's sacred body. Moreover, she knew how tempting the Earth Cauldron's sacred body was. Therefore, she had concealed it with a secret technique. Even the guardian of the Sky Demon Emperor City could not see through it. How did Darkness Ling Xiao know? Earth Cauldron's sacred body. What's that? Zhao Ritian asked like a curious baby. He, Heaven and Earth Gandue, Water Li, and Wind Zhen are the 8 supreme sacred bodies. Those who have these 8 supreme sacred bodies are all women. Moreover, they are all excellent cauldrons. They have accumulated a vast amount of origin Yuan Yin in their bodies. It's really a supreme treasure for dual cultivation. Darkness Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. He looked at the Heavenly Incense Emperor as if he was looking at a peerless treasure. Cauldron? Dual cultivation? Zhao Ritian's face turned red. He was still a virgin until now. However, he naturally understood the relationship between a man and a woman. After hearing Darkness Ling Xiao's explanation, how could he not understand what Darkness Ling Xiao was trying to do? Shameless! Zhao Ritian scolded in his heart. Heavenly Incense Emperor, right? I see that you haven't lost your origin Yuan Yin and your Earth Cauldron sacred body is still intact. Why don't you lend it to me? If my cultivation can make a breakthrough, I'll spare your life. Darkness Ling Xiao looked at the heavenly incense emperor and said with a faint smile. You bastard. The heavenly incense emperor's face turned red. She was embarrassed and angry. She did not expect Darkness Ling Xiao to spare her life because of her earth cauldron's sacred body. I'm not a bastard. I'm the demon lord. Today, you have to agree whether you want to or not. This is not up to you. Darkness Ling Xiao said with a devilish smile. He then walked towards the heavenly incense emperor. You don't come over. The heavenly incense emperor said with a trembling voice. She stretched out her slender hand in an attempt to block the attack, but Darkness Ling Xiao pointed a finger at her from the sky and sealed all of her cultivation. She was already severely injured and was locked down by Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's aura. She was no match for Darkness Ling Xiao. After sealing her cultivation, Darkness Ling Xiao lifted her up. Demon Lord, you can't do this. You can kill her, but why? Why? Why do you have to humiliate her? Zhao Ritian stopped Darkness Ling Xiao and said sternly. Why don't you do it? Darkness Ling Xiao smiled faintly and was about to throw the heavenly incense emperor to Zhao Ritian. Zhao Ritian was so frightened that he quickly dodged to the side. Ha ha ha. The son of the celestial emperor is still a virgin? What a strange story. Brother Ritian, since you don't dare to do it, don't blame me for being rude. Dark Ling Xiao laughed out loud, looking extremely arrogant and flamboyant. He took a look at Zhao Ritian, then carried the Heaven Incense Emperor and headed towards the Celestial Demon Mountain. It was easy to guess what he was going to do. Bah! The demon race is indeed a bunch of despicable and shameless people. Zhao Ritian was so angry that he cursed at Darkness Ling Xiao. However, there was nothing he could do. Ritian, that's the sacred earth tripod physique. You missed it just like that. If you had stayed and cultivated with her, it might have improved your cultivation. You might not have reached the peerless Emperor realm, but reaching the 8th heaven of the Emperor realm wouldn't be a problem. Second uncle sighed. There was a trace of regret in his voice. So what if it's the sacred earth tripod physique? How can I, Zhao Ritian, do such a despicable thing? Second uncle, this demon lord is not a good person. Why don't I find a chance to kill him later? Zhao Ritian snorted coldly. Kill him? Not to mention that you might not be able to kill him, this guy is indeed related to Ling Xiao. He might be a demon race expert that Ling Xiao has subdued. He doesn't have any enmity against you. I think you should maintain a good relationship with him. After all, the Eternal Emperor Road is filled with danger. Having such a powerful and unscrupulous helper will be beneficial to you. Second uncle said seriously. Since second uncle says so, I'll spare his worthless life first. I'll settle the score with him later. Zhao Ritian snorted coldly. He had to admit that Darkness Ling Xiao was indeed powerful. He had just made a bet with Darkness Ling Xiao to kill the trial takers. In fact, he had lost. Darkness Ling Xiao was simply a killing machine. With a single strike, those trial takers were either killed or injured. No one was his match. Zhao Ritian had seen Darkness Ling Xiao's powerful combat strength with his own eyes. Therefore, he was extremely wary of Darkness Ling Xiao. At this moment, on the Heaven Demon Mountain behind him, a decadent sound was heard. It was unbearable. Zhao Ritian shuddered and his face turned green. Demon Lord, fuck your grandmother, Zhao Ritian was so angry that he cursed. This Demon Lord is too despicable. Even if you want to do that, can't you run further away? You're so close and you're shouting so loudly. What are you trying to do? Zhao Ritian was so angry that he immediately wanted to leap up and leave the Heaven Demon Mountain. Master, this is bad. The phenomenon here has alarmed many prehistoric demonic beasts. They're all heading towards the Heaven Demon Mountain. We have to hide in the Heaven Demon Mountain. The three-legged golden crow's voice suddenly sounded. There was a trace of seriousness in it. What? Prehistoric demonic beasts? Zhao Ritian trembled. Those that could be called prehistoric demonic beasts were terrifying existences comparable to peerless emperors. That's right. They're prehistoric demonic beasts. And it looks like there are at least 3 of them. There are countless other prehistoric demonic beasts. Master, the Heaven Demon Mountain is filled with Emperor's aura. They should be afraid. Let's hide first. The 3-legged golden crow urged. Bastard! Zhao Ritian was so angry that he screamed. However, he still stomped his foot and turned around to fly up the Heaven Demon Mountain. Rumble. Behind him, the earth rumbled and the void shook. A vast and terrifying aura rose as prehistoric demonic beasts appeared one after another. In particular, there were a few prehistoric demonic beasts that were like mountains. Their aura was monstrous and terrifying. One look at them would cause one's heart to palpitate. The phenomenon on the Heaven Demon Mountain made the powerful creatures in the Heaven Demon Abyss uneasy. They all rushed over. Zhao Ritian and the 3-legged golden crow flew up the Heaven Demon Mountain and hid in the chaotic clouds. It's best if those prehistoric demonic beasts devour that bastard. Zhao Ritian thought to himself. Chapter 32-28. Zhao Ritian and the 3-legged golden crow hid in the demonic mountain. With the chaotic clouds concealing their auras, those beasts did not discover their tracks. What surprised Zhao Ritian was that bastard Darkness Ling Xiao. He did not know where he had brought the Sky Incense Emperor to, but they were not discovered by the beasts either. He felt that it was a pity. In the end, those beasts did not discover the aura of any living beings when they arrived at the demonic mountain. They also did not discover the source of the phenomenon. After patrolling around, they could only leave unwillingly. Phew! We're finally safe. Zhao Ritian took a deep breath. His eyes were filled with joy. This time, entering the demonic abyss could be considered a blessing in disguise. He had obtained the Dao fruit and his cultivation had broken through to the 7th heaven of the immortal emperor realm. Even if he wanted to become an immortal emperor in the future, he would have more hope than others. At this moment, Zhao Ritian saw Darkness Ling Xiao and the Sky Incense Emperor walking out of the demonic mountain. Darkness Ling Xiao was dressed in a black robe. He was tall and handsome, and his face was cold and domineering. The demonic aura around him was monstrous, and he exuded an insufferably arrogant aura. The Sky Incense Emperor's eyes were like silk as she leaned against Darkness Ling Xiao. Her face was filled with happiness and she was very docile. Adulterous couple. Zhao Ritian could not help but curse in his heart when he saw the two of them. What made Zhao Ritian feel even worse was that Darkness Ling Xiao's cultivation had broken through again. He was now a 6th heaven of the immortal emperor realm. When Zhao Ritian met Darkness Ling Xiao, he was only a 3rd heaven of the immortal emperor realm. How long had it been since then? He had broken through 3 realms consecutively. Even with Zhao Ritian's amazing luck, he could not help but feel shocked at this moment. Brother Ritian, you and I have gone through thick and thin together. Why don't we continue on the eternal emperor path together? Darkness Ling Xiao smiled at Zhao Ritian. How could he let Zhao Ritian off so easily? He had a deep understanding that Zhao Ritian was simply the illegitimate son of the heavens. His luck was heaven-defying, and he could find supreme treasures wherever he went. If he followed Zhao Ritian, Darkness Ling Xiao's cultivation might break through to the immortal emperor realm very soon. Moreover, Zhao Ritian was a simple-minded person. Go together. If you want to follow me, then you can be my follower. Zhao Ritian laughed proudly. Since this guy who called himself the Demon Lord was related to Ling Xiao and seemed to be extremely powerful, Zhao Ritian thought that he would be a good fighter. With Dark Soaring Cloud, at least Zhao Ritian would not be hunted down like he was today. Brother Ritian, are you mistaken? The bet between the two of us. Dark Ling Xiao glanced at Zhao Ritian and chuckled. A bet? What bet? Aren't we killing enemies together? Since you don't want to be my follower, it's fine. Your cultivation is not bad. You can barely be my friend. Zhao Ritian pretended to be dumb and said proudly. His bet with dark soaring clouds was that whoever killed the most followers would be the big brother. In the end, Zhao Ritian lost. However, as the son of the celestial emperor, how could he become someone else's follower? Not to mention someone from the demon clan. If he became the follower of the demon clan, the celestial emperor would probably rush out and kill this unfilial son of his if he knew about it. Ha ha ha. That's right, brother Ritian. We are good friends. What should we do next? Dark Ling Xiao said with a hearty laugh. He didn't mention the bet again. No matter what, Dark Soaring Cloud had decided to follow Zhao Ritian. Zhao Ritian heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that Dark Soaring Clouds did not harp on the bet. His expression softened a little. There should be quite a number of treasures in the Heavenly Demon Abyss. Why don't we take a look? When the trial in the Heavenly Demon Abyss opens, we can sneak in and pass the trial and rush out of Heavenly Demon Emperor City. Zhao Ritian thought for a while and said to Dark Soaring Cloud. That's what I was thinking. Dark Soaring Cloud nodded and smiled. All in all, following Zhao Ritian would not be a bad thing. Zhao Ritian also felt that with a super fighter like Dark Soaring Cloud, he would be much safer in the future. Both of them felt that they had taken advantage of each other. They looked at each other and smiled. The way they looked at each other became more and more pleasing to the eye. The Heavenly Incense Emperor's body and mind had been conquered by Dark Soaring Cloud. Now, she had placed all her heart on Dark Soaring Cloud. Dark Soaring Cloud asked the Heavenly Incense Emperor to return to Heavenly Demon Emperor City and inform Dark Soaring Cloud about the trial. He also asked Dark Soaring Cloud to monitor the actions of the Heavenly Demon Emperor City's guardian. Dark Soaring Cloud felt that he could not fall behind the main body. If he had the chance, he wanted to kill a guardian for fun. Although the Heavenly Incense Emperor was reluctant to leave, she still obediently left the Heavenly Demon Abyss and returned to Heavenly Demon Emperor City. Dark Soaring Cloud and Zhao Ritian searched for treasures in the Heavenly Demon Abyss. As the largest forbidden area around Heavenly Demon Emperor City, the Heavenly Demon Abyss was not only vast and boundless, but it also contained all kinds of precious treasures. Dark Ling Xiao followed Zhao Ritian and looted quite a number of treasures. In fact, they even managed to obtain 2 types of extreme metals. This had Dark Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian extremely excited. At their level of cultivation, they could already refine their own destiny weapons. This destiny weapon was also the foundation of their future Dao validation. Once they had validated their Dao and become emperors, their destiny weapon would become a true extreme Dao emperor weapon. Although Zhao Ritian had the Flame Emperor Cauldron, Heavenly Dao Emperor Sword, and other extreme Dao Emperor weapons, he still planned to refine his own peerless divine weapon. It was even more so for Dark Soaring Cloud. The two of them traversed a few million miles of the Heavenly Demon Abyss and killed many powerful ancient mutated beasts. Even a severely injured ancient demonic beast was killed by the two of them. Dark Soaring Cloud and Zhao Ritian got along more and more harmoniously. In the end, they even regretted not having met earlier. The 3-legged golden crow was speechless. Dark Soaring Cloud was from the demon race. Not only did the demon race have a blood feud with the human race, but they were also the culprits behind the Heavenly Emperor's death. Was it right for Zhao Ritian to do this? However, the 3-legged golden crow did not dare to say anything. Ever since it was showing off in front of Dark Soaring Cloud and was almost crushed by Dark Soaring Cloud's punch, it felt instinctive fear whenever it saw Dark Soaring Cloud. The Heaven Demon Emperor City's trial finally began. In the Heaven Demon Abyss, many trial challengers appeared and began to fight with the ancient mutated beasts in the Heaven Demon Abyss. Intense battles were taking place everywhere, making the place look like a chaotic place. Dark Soaring Cloud and Zhao Ritian began to keep a low profile. After all, after the trial began, the entire Heaven Demon Abyss was under the surveillance of the Heaven Demon Emperor City's city guardian. The Heaven Demon Emperor City's trial was to collect a Heaven Demon Crystal and traverse the Heaven Demon Abyss. The Heaven Demon Crystal was formed by the Heaven Demon's origin power. Most of them were found in the depths of the abyss or in the lair of some powerful ancient mutated beasts. Therefore, it was not so easy to obtain heavenly magic crystals. However, this was not a problem for Dark Soaring Cloud and Zhao Ritian. After they killed the ancient mutated beast, they found a few heaven demon crystals in its lair. Moreover, Dark Soaring Cloud realized that the heaven demon crystal was very beneficial to his physical body. It could strengthen his physical body. Although it was only a small amount, it was precious enough. Therefore, during this period, although Dark Soaring Cloud and Zhao Ritian kept a low profile, they spent most of their time searching for the heaven demon crystal. It was inevitable that they would clash with the trial challengers, and a few battles had even broken out. On this day, they saw an extremely strange scene. An extremely ugly young man was chasing after a group of trial challengers. "Don't come over. Get out of my way, get out of my way. Yi Liangchen, Grandpa Yi, I beg you. I've already given you the heaven demon crystal. What else do you want? Yi Liangchen, you devil. The city guardian will not let you go." The group of trial challengers were crying for their parents. Their faces were swollen and they looked extremely miserable. On the other hand, the extremely ugly young man in a black robe had all sorts of heaven demon crystals hanging around his body. He looked very proud of himself. He stood with his hands behind his back and stepped on the void as he chased after the trial challengers. As he chased after them, he was still shouting, "Don't run. Although you've already given me the heaven demon crystal, I haven't settled the score of you disturbing my cultivation. If you don't take out tens of billions of origin pills to compensate for my loss, don't even think about leaving." This guy is Yi Liangchen. Zhao Ritian was also stunned. He recognized Yi Liangchen. In the realm of the gods, if Zhao Ritian was the son of fortune, then Yi Liangchen was the son of misfortune. He was despised wherever he went. Those who were hostile towards Yi Liangchen were in big trouble. Wherever Yi Liangchen went, the crowd would simply avoid him. Zhao Ritian did not expect Yi Liangchen to appear here. Yi Liangchen. Darkness Ling Zhao's eyes also flashed with light. He also knew about Yi Liangchen from his original body. This Yi Liangchen was a bomb that would hurt others and hurt himself. If he did not use him well, even he would be in trouble. However, this guy seemed to be very powerful. He actually chased after hundreds of trial challengers alone. This made Zhao Ritian's face turn black. Zhao Ritian subconsciously thought of the incident where he was chased after not long ago. Yi Liangchen's current cultivation was at the fifth heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. Those who were chased by him were mostly low-level and mid-level Imperial Emperors. "How dare you!" At this moment, a cold shout exploded in the void. Rumble. A huge palm print came across the sky. It was wrapped in blazing lightning as it pressed down on Yi Liangchen. Yi Liangchen's eyes flashed as a mysterious brilliance bloomed around his body. The runes were dazzling and his body instantly became incomparably illusory. Then, he disappeared on the spot. Boom! When the palm print landed, the ground rumbled and instantly shattered into pieces. Yi Liangchen's figure appeared tens of thousands of feet away. Coincidentally, he was near Zhao Ritian and Darkness Ling Zhao. A high-level Imperial Emperor. Yi Liangchen muttered to himself. A faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. There was no fear at all. A figure descended from the sky. It was a young man with purple hair. He wore purple gold armor and had a heroic figure. His face was incomparably cold and arrogant. Blazing lightning surrounded his body. He was like a thunder god that had descended to the world. His aura was monstrous. "It's Lord Zi Shao!" someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. "Lord Zi Shao, please make a decision. This kid snatched our heavenly demon crystals and wants to take our lives. He deserves to die." A trial challenger bowed to the purple-haired young man and said, "You're courting death. How dare you behave atrociously in the heavenly demon abyss? Hand over the heavenly demon crystals and end your own life. Zi Shao stared at Yi Liangchen in front of him. His eyes were deep as he said coldly. Who do you think you are? How dare you ask me for the heavenly demon crystals? Yi Liangchen sneered. He was not afraid at all. Although Zi Zhao's aura was powerful and his cultivation had reached the 8th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm and could control the power of lightning, Yi Liangchen's expression was still very calm. Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian were a little confused. Could Yi Liangchen defeat Zi Shao? Darkness Ling Xiao said in surprise. He could sense that Zi Shao was a strong opponent. Zi Shao is not simple. He has an aura that does not belong to this era. He should be an ancient sky pride. Zhao Ritian said slowly. An ancient sky pride? It seems like he has his eyes on Yi Liangchen's heavenly demon crystals. However, these heavenly demon crystals are all mine. Who dares to snatch them? Darkness Ling Xiao sneered. There was a strong fighting spirit in his eyes. He knew that Zi Shao must have discovered the magical use of the heavenly demon crystals and wanted to snatch them to temper his body. Die! Murderous intent rose in Zi Zhao's eyes as he suddenly shouted. Then, he pressed his palm down from the sky. The huge purple palm print covered the sky and locked onto Yi Liangchen. It was like an ancient mountain that wanted to kill him completely. Seeing that Yi Liangchen was only a 5th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm, Zi Shao did not bother to talk to Zhao Ritian. He used his killing move right away. Bastard, are the two of you still watching the show? Come and help me. Yi Liangchen's expression changed immediately. He used a teleportation secret skill to dodge Zi Zhao's attack and shouted at Darkness Ling Xiao and Yi Liangchen. What? This guy is so arrogant. After all this, he wants to rely on us. Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian looked at each other. They originally thought that Yi Liangchen had some trump cards. They did not expect him to reveal his true colors the moment Zi Shao attacked. Yi Liangchen flew towards Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian in a sorry state. Obviously, he had noticed them long ago. Before he could say anything, a sharp light flashed in Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes. He rushed into the sky and punched Zi Shao. Rumble. Darkness Ling Xiao's fist intent was unparalleled. It was ferocious and domineering. The demonic armor was instantly activated by him. Chaotic light soared into the sky and enveloped Darkness Ling Xiao and Zi Shao. A loud explosion was heard. Zi Shao was sent flying by Darkness Ling Xiao. Peak. Chapter 32-29. Who are you? Zi Shao shouted at Darkness Ling Xiao as his vital energy and blood surged. His eyes were solemn as he stared at Darkness Ling Xiao. He was the master of lightning and was known as the Lightning Emperor. He used endless lightning to temper his body and formed a lightning body. His physical body was extremely strong. However, he did not expect Darkness Ling Xiao, who was only a 6th heaven Emperor realm martial artist, to have a stronger physical body than him. Especially the chaotic turbulence and the mysterious demonic aura, Zi Shao felt like he was facing a chaos demon god. I am the demon master. Darkness Ling Xiao smiled proudly as his eyes were filled with sharpness. How dare you? How dare you impersonate Lord Bo Sun? Only Lord Bo Sun is worthy of the title of Demon Master. Zi Zhao's eyes flashed with murderous intent as he stared at Darkness Ling Xiao. Bo Sun Wushuang. So, you are Bo Sun Wushuang's subordinate? Where is Bo Sun Wushuang? I would like to meet him. Darkness Ling Xiao was stunned as he did not expect to meet Bo Sun Wushuang's subordinate here. Bo Sun Wushuang was known as the peerless expert who had lost to the Heavenly Emperor. He was the supreme genius of the demon race. Bo Sun Wushuang had sealed himself for a lifetime and had broken out of the seal in this lifetime to conquer Eternal Emperor Road and obtain the secret of transcendence. You are not qualified to meet Lord Bo Sun Wushuang. Lord Bo Sun Wushuang has already arrived at the 12 Emperor cities. Who do you think you are to speak so arrogantly? Zi Shao sneered as his eyes were filled with disdain. So, Bo Sun Wushuang is not here. What a pity. I'm afraid he can't save you. Don't worry, after I kill you, I will come to the 12 emperor cities and let your lord Bo Sun Wushuang accompany you. Dark Ling Xiao said indifferently. His eyes were filled with an incomparably cold expression. Boasting shamelessly. You? Zi Shao laughed in anger as his eyes were filled with cold murderous intent. Although he did not know who Darkness Ling Xiao was, he deserved death for impersonating the demon master and speaking rudely to Lord Bo Sun Wushuang. Although Darkness Ling Xiao's physical body was very strong, Zi Shao was not afraid at all. Murderous intent surged around him, and blazing thunderbolts wrapped around his body like divine chains of order. He was an ancient genius from the same era as Bushuan. In the end, he was subdued by Bushuan and became his follower. His battle prowess was heaven-defying, and he could contend with a peerless monarch. Hence, he did not place Darkness Ling Xiao in his eyes at all. Zhao Ritian, why are you with the demons? You are the son of the celestial emperor. Aren't you afraid that your father will come back to life and teach you a lesson? Yap Liangchen asked curiously. Although he had discovered Dark Soaring Firmament and Zhao Ritian, he did not recognize Dark Soaring Firmament. Now that Dark Soaring Firmament had made his move, he realized that Dark Soaring Firmament was actually from the devil race. What do you mean I'm with the demons? Don't talk nonsense. This is my new hired thug. This guy's combat strength is extraordinary. It would be a pity to kill him. Let's use him for a while first. If he doesn't listen to me, just kill him. Zhao Ritian laughed proudly. Anyway, Dark Soaring Firmament was fighting with Purple Firmament. No matter how much he bragged, he was not afraid. Yap Liangchen looked at Zhao Ritian with envy and said, "Where did you find such a powerful hired thug? I think this guy is a peerless genius even among the demons. He shouldn't be a nobody, right? He called himself the Devil Lord. Now, it seems like he's a fake." Zhao Ritian said thoughtfully. "Brother Ritian, if you meet such a powerful hired thug later, can you help me catch one?" Yap Liangchen said affectionately. "Stay away from me. We'll see if I can catch him or not when the time comes." Zhao Ritian said cautiously as he distanced himself from Yap Liangchen. Yap Liangchen was a jinx. He had the body of misfortune. Even Zhao Ritian was wary of him. He was afraid that his luck would be affected if he stayed with this guy. However, Yap Liangchen was a double-edged sword. If he was used well, he would be a nightmare to his enemies. "Hee, Brother Ritian, I'll follow you from now on." Yap Liangchen's eyes darted around as he chuckled. He was prepared to hug Zhao Ritian's thigh. Zhao Ritian's cultivation had reached the high-level emperor realm. He was strong and had such a powerful hired thug. Yap Liangchen would not be at a disadvantage if he followed Zhao Ritian. The Eternal Emperor Road was filled with danger. Although Yap Liangchen had the body of misfortune, he had suffered a lot over the years. "You troublemaker. If you want to follow me, you have to be obedient, understand? Also, don't spread your misfortune around. Listen to my instructions and mess with whoever I ask you to mess with." Zhao Ritian laughed proudly. "Of course. Brother Ritian will be my big brother from now on." Yap Liangchen patted his chest and said. His eyes darted around and he looked even more wretched. However, he was calculating in his heart. This Zhao Ritian seemed to be very strong. He could be a free hired thug on the Eternal Emperor Road. As for Zhao Ritian's character, he had a good grasp of it. As long as he complimented him, Zhao Ritian would do whatever he wanted. After a few sentences, Yap Liangchen and Zhao Ritian started to get into a heated fight. The three-legged golden crow watched coldly from the side. He felt helpless too. He did not know if it was a blessing or a curse to have such an unreliable master. Rumble. The battle between Darkness Ling Xiao and Zi Shao was extremely intense. Darkness Ling Xiao had formed the chaotic bone and had the unparalleled fighting strength of the Chaos Demon tribe. In addition to the power of the demonic armor, he was like a prehistoric demon beast. His fighting strength was extremely strong. Although his cultivation was 2 levels lower than Zi Xiao's, his aura was stronger and he gained the upper hand in an instant. Unparalleled Fist Prince continuously hit Zi Xiao's body, causing Zi Xiao's body to tremble. His eyes were filled with disbelief. The power of the demonic armor caused Zi Xiao's body to tremble. When the unparalleled divine power attacked, cracks appeared around Zi Xiao's body. It was as if he was going to collapse at any time. Damn it! This is the legendary Chaos Demon Tribe. Zi Xiao's eyes were filled with shock. He was also a supreme talent of the Demon Tribe. He wielded the power of lightning and was known as the Lightning Emperor. He had once defeated many experts and his fighting strength was unparalleled. In his opinion, in the entire demon world, only Demon Lord Bo Sun Wushuang was qualified to be his follower. The others were just chickens and pottery dogs. However, he now realized that the powerful Chaos Demon Tribe that once dominated the demon world had a successor. The glove on his hand must be the demonic armor. If Lord Wushuang knows the whereabouts of the demonic armor, he will be very happy. So what if he is from the Chaos Demon Tribe? He will still die in front of Lord Wushuang. Zi Xiao stared at the glove on Darkness Lingxiao's hand. His eyes were filled with greed and passion. Lord Bo Sun Wushuang also had a demonic armor. He knew how terrifying the demonic armor was. It was a supreme treasure that was more powerful than an extreme Dao Emperor weapon. Lightning rose around Zi Xiao. He had already formed the origin of lightning. Streaks of black demonic lightning not only had the heat of lightning, but they also contained powerful corrosive and devouring power. It was as if they could destroy all life. Zi Xiao knew that Darkness Lingxiao's physical body was strong. He did not dare to fight him head-on. He pulled away and used the demonic lightning to fight him. At the same time, a black halberd appeared in Zi Xiao's hand. It was surrounded by blazing lightning. It was ferocious and domineering, and it was filled with powerful energy fluctuations. Purple Heaven Lightning Halberd. This was Zi Xiao's extreme Dao Emperor weapon. When combined with Zi Xiao, it could unleash the power of an unparalleled Imperial Emperor. Although the Emperor's Dao was suppressed on Emperor's Road of Eternity, and the power of an extreme Dao Emperor weapon was greatly reduced, it was still much more powerful than an ordinary weapon. Zi Xiao was surrounded by blazing lightning. His purple hair fluttered in the wind, and his armor clanged. The halberd in his hand slashed down from the sky. It contained a powerful force as it went straight for Darkness Lingxiao's head. Darkness Lingxiao's eyes were sharp as he threw a punch. The demonic armor gave off a bright bloody light as if it was soaked in blood. It was eerie and evil. Clang! Divine light spewed out and the void shook. The halberd in Zi Xiao's hand buzzed and vibrated. It was blocked by the demonic armor. A surge of divine power came through and numbed Zi Xiao's arm. The halberd almost flew out of his hand. Boom! 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 Darkness Lingxiao's eyes were like steel. His fist was like a dragon as the demonic aura around him filled the sky. He charged forward and threw punch after punch at Zi Xiao. The unparalleled Fist Prince seemed to be able to destroy everything. They were like immemorial divine mountains as they continuously bombarded the halberd. Zi Xiao could only passively face his opponent. The lightning on the halberd was shattered and the runes were destroyed. Crack! Darkness Lingxiao's last punch pierced through the void and landed on the halberd. At the same time, it landed on Zi Xiao's chest. A clear sound rang out. Zi Xiao spat out a mouthful of blood, and his entire body was directly sent flying. What? The trial takers were stunned. They knew Zi Xiao's power better than anyone else. Among the many sky prides and demonic geniuses in Heaven Demon Emperor City, Zi Xiao was definitely one of the top. There were less than 5 people who could be compared to Zi Xiao. But now, Zi Xiao was being suppressed by Darkness Lingxiao and was injured so quickly. Who is this guy who calls himself the Demon Master? Everyone's hearts were filled with doubt. At the same time, their gazes towards Darkness Lingxiao were filled with reverence. Darkness Lingxiao was violent. After refining the fruit of the way, his chaotic demon tribe bloodline seemed to have been developed to the extreme. His entire body merged with the chaos and he could mobilize the supreme power of the chaos at any time. Needless to say, the demonic armor in Darkness Lingxiao's hands was even more imposing. It was like an ancient demon treasure that made people feel intimidated. Even the purple heaven lightning halberd, an ultimate emperor weapon, was suppressed by the demonic armor. Brother Ritian, are you sure this is the fighter you recruited? This guy's combat strength is not weaker than a peerless imperial emperor, right? Yi Liangchen opened his eyes wide and his face was filled with disbelief. Darkness Lingxiao's violent combat strength was extremely heaven-defying. In his opinion, there was only one person in the divine world who could be compared to him. Ling Xiao. I wonder who would win if Darkness Lingxiao and the Demon Master were to fight? Yi Liangchen thought to himself. Cough cough. Of course, it's the fighter I subdued. My current methods aren't something you can fathom. Follow me obediently and you will live a good life in the future. No one will dare to provoke you. Zhao Ritian coughed lightly and said proudly. Although he was shocked by Darkness Lingxiao's terrifying combat strength, he was still shocked by it. Master, you saved a peerless demon from Celestial Demon Mountain. The three-legged golden crow mumbled to himself. His eyes were filled with seriousness. Damn it. This guy is from the chaotic demon tribe and he has the demonic armor, a heaven-defying treasure. I'm afraid I'm not his match. Only Master Wushuang can suppress him. Zi Shao felt extremely wronged. Although he did not want to admit it, he had to admit that he was not as good as Darkness Lingxiao. At the same time, he had the intention to retreat. Zhao Ritian, who had yet to make a move, gave Zi Shao a feeling that he was not to be trifled with. If he continued to stay, he might really die here. Boom! Black demonic light surged around Zi Shao's body. His aura began to skyrocket. A desolate aura spread out, making Zi Shao feel extremely dangerous. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. The heavenly halberd in his hand shone with boundless light. Accompanied by thunderbolts that were like divine chains of order, he slashed at Darkness Lingxiao across the sky. Demon descends to the world. Zi Shao roared. An ancient and mysterious world seemed to appear behind him and supported the heavenly halberd. This attack was like the arrival of a chaotic demon god. All the Daos in the world were suppressed at the same time. It was going to completely annihilate Darkness Lingxiao. Are you going all out? Darkness Lingxiao's eyes were sharp as he sneered in his heart. This attack was extremely powerful. It was clearly a powerful forbidden skill that Zi Shao had used by burning his life source. Numerous thick bolts of devil lightning descended, sealing the darkness within like a prison. The ancient halberd seemed capable of cleaving apart the heavens and earth, breaking apart the primordial chaos. Its speed was to the extreme. Kill! Darkness Lingxiao's eyes were filled with a trace of madness. The chaotic light around him suddenly exploded and swept out in all directions like a storm. The demonic armor became as red as blood. In an instant, it was like a blood-red pillar that soared into the sky. It was blazing to the extreme. Darkness Lingxiao's robe and black hair fluttered. His entire body shone with boundless chaotic light and collided with the vast momentum of the world above his head. Rumble. An incomparably terrifying explosion rang out, shaking the heavens in all directions. Powerful airwaves swept out in all directions. The trial takers who were watching the battle could not help but tremble as they were sent flying. The vast demonic world was directly shattered by Darkness Lingxiao's punch. Even Zi Shao and the heavenly halberd were shattered at the same time. What? Lord Zi Shao died just like that. Everyone trembled and their eyes were filled with disbelief. A cicada shedding its carapace. A cold light flashed in Darkness Lingxiao's eyes. Although Zi Shao and the heavenly halberd were shattered, he did not feel any aura of the death of the real spirit. Whoosh! At the same time, an extremely wretched figure appeared tens of thousands of feet away. It was Zishao. The purple gold armor on Zishao's body was tattered and the heavenly halberd in his hand was trembling non-stop. His face was pale and there was blood at the corner of his mouth. His eyes were filled with fear. "Brat, you dare to impersonate Lord Demon Lord. Lord Demon Lord will not let you go." Zishao glared at He Lingxiao with great resentment. He immediately turned into a blood-red streak of light and teleported into the distance. He had actually escaped. Chapter 32:30. Previously, Zishao had used the forbidden technique, Demon Descends to the World. He did not want to fight Darkness Ling Xiao to the death. Instead, he wanted to create an illusion and escape. Although he was arrogant and conceited, he was not stupid. Seeing that he could not kill Darkness Ling Xiao and was in danger of dying, he decisively chose to escape. Once the Demon Descends to the World was used, he used Blood Escape and left the battlefield in an instant. This man is from the Chaotic Demon clan and he has the demon armor. He will definitely be a strong opponent of Lord Wushuang in the future. I must inform Lord Wushuang as soon as possible and kill him. Zishao thought to himself. Zishao, I'm afraid it's not appropriate for you to leave just like that. Suddenly, an extremely ear-piercing voice was heard. Zishao's body stiffened. He suddenly realized that Yi Liangchen had appeared in front of him and blocked his way. Yi Liangchen had a faint smile on his face and he looked a little wretched. He was not afraid of Zishao who was charging towards him. "You're courting death." Murderous intent flashed in Zishao's eyes. Yi Liangchen was only a level 5 Imperial Emperor. His aura was much weaker than Darkness Ling Xiao. How dare an ant-like thing block Lord Zishao's way? He's simply courting death. Boom! Demonic aura surged around Zishao. He did not slow down at all. Instead, he sped up. The halberd in his hand was surrounded by blazing lightning as he slashed towards Yi Liangchen. Swoosh! Yi Liangchen was very slippery and his speed was extremely fast. He had actually cultivated the secret skill of teleportation. At the same time, he had comprehended the power of space. A light flashed around his body and he disappeared, leaving only an afterimage. Boom! The halberd lost its target and directly smashed a huge mountain below into pieces. Zishao, I'm warning you. If you continue to attack me, something bad will happen. Yi Liangchen appeared tens of thousands of feet away and smiled at Zishao. You're courting death. Murderous intent flashed in Zishao's eyes. He continued to move forward with the halberd in his hand and continuously slashed at Yi Liangchen. However, Yi Liangchen had extreme speed and was very cunning. He would usually dodge before Zishao attacked. At that moment, Zishao, who was severely injured, could not lock onto Yi Liangchen at all. This made him increasingly frustrated. He didn't know why dark soaring clouds didn't chase after him, but he felt uneasy. We have to leave this place. Zishao thought to himself. However, no matter where he moved, Yi Liangchen would always appear in front of him and tease him. Zishao, I'll warn you one last time. If you continue to attack me, I'm afraid you'll die a tragic death. Yap Liangchen smiled proudly. I'm warning you, my ass. Zishao cursed and almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He was so angry that he activated the sky piercer to the extreme. Bolts of lightning were like divine chains of order, entangling Yi Liangchen. At the same time, the halberd seemed to have split open the sky and turned into a rainbow that was extremely bright. Zishao, you're finished. No one will be able to save you if you dare to attack me. Yi Liangchen let out a strange cry and moved away again. Rumble. There was a huge mountain below. It was extremely majestic, ancient, and mysterious. After Yi Liangchen moved away, the sky piercer slashed down from the sky and hit the huge mountain directly. The mountain rocks shattered and the mountain shook. However, the mountain didn't shatter as expected. Instead, it couldn't go any further after being split open for 1,000 feet. Roar! A loud roar was heard and it shook the sky. The mountain collapsed with a loud bang, and black tentacles rushed out of the mountain and swept towards Zishao. Terrifying demonic aura surged and the ominous aura filled the sky. Everyone couldn't help but tremble and their faces turned pale. Oh no! Zishao's face changed and he wanted to rush out. However, the black tentacles that blotted out the sky and covered the earth were as fast as lightning. Their speed was extremely fast and they instantly wrapped around Zishao. A prehistoric demonic beast rushed out from the huge mountain. It was 10,000 feet tall and its body was pitch black. It was covered with all kinds of tentacles and its eyes were like blood moons. They were cold and cruel. As for the halberd, it landed on the head of the prehistoric demonic beast and left behind a huge bloody scar. The prehistoric demonic beast was originally sleeping in the mountain. However, it didn't expect to be attacked by Zishao. It was awakened by Zishao's attack on its head. The prehistoric demonic beast was completely enraged. Its eyes were filled with killing intent and it stared at Zishao. Many tentacles were crazily whipping towards Zishao. Boom! Zishao roared again and again. The sky piercer in his hand was extremely sharp and it kept cutting off the tentacles. However, new tentacles grew out and covered Zishao. Black flames rose around the prehistoric demonic beast and it spat out black light beams that contained extremely strong corrosiveness. They formed a black light ball in the void and trapped Zishao in it like a barrier. Get out of my way! Zishao roared and the demonic aura around him surged. He wanted to rush out. However, the prehistoric demonic beast was extremely powerful. It had the combat strength of a peerless imperial emperor. Now that it was enraged by Zishao, how could it let it go? It wanted to tear Zishao into pieces. How tragic! I told you that you would meet with misfortune. Why didn't you listen? Yi Yangchen sighed softly. His eyes were filled with sympathy. Yi Yangchen, tell me honestly. Did you discover this prehistoric demonic beast long ago? Zhao Ritian flew over and looked at Yi Yangchen suspiciously. I really didn't know that there was a prehistoric demonic beast here. However, don't you think that he would meet with misfortune sooner or later if he chased after me? Yi Yangchen said with a proud smile. Zhao Ritian thought about it and agreed. When the prehistoric demonic beast was sleeping, it hid all of its aura and hid in the mountain range. Even Darkness Ling Xiao and Zishao couldn't discover its existence. Yi Yangchen probably couldn't find it either. However, Yi Yangchen had the body of misfortune. Anyone who wanted to deal with him would meet with misfortune and meet with misfortune. Zishao was also miserable. He was entangled by a prehistoric demonic beast. Zishao, where do you think you're going now? Darkness Ling Xiao said indifferently. He also appeared in front of Zishao. The demonic armor on his arm emitted a strange bloody light. Zishao's face turned pale immediately. His eyes were filled with despair. The prehistoric demonic beast was extremely powerful. It was already extremely difficult to deal with. Now that he was severely injured and Darkness Ling Xiao was eyeing him covetously, where could he escape to? Those trial takers had long been scared out of their wits and scattered in all directions. Even Zishao wasn't a match for Darkness Ling Xiao. They would definitely die if they stayed here. Brat, I'll wait for you. Master Wushuang won't let you go. Zishao let out a desperate roar. Soon, he was drowned by the endless tentacles of the prehistoric demonic beast. The prehistoric demonic beast seemed to have a problem with its brain. Even when Darkness Ling Xiao appeared, it was still determined to kill Zishao. In the end, Zishao self-destructed in despair. Rumble. The self-destruction of an ancient supreme talent was so terrifying that even a peerless emperor would find it difficult to withstand it. It was as if the world was about to be destroyed as it stirred up the surrounding void. The blazing divine light swept out and turned the mountains and lakes within a radius of tens of thousands of miles into dust. Darkness Ling Xiao was already on guard against Zishao. Hence, he easily dodged the attack. However, the prehistoric demonic beast wasn't so lucky. It was severely injured by the explosion. In the end, the prehistoric demonic beast died in the hands of Darkness Ling Xiao. What a great harvest! Ha ha ha! We're rich now. I didn't expect the prehistoric demonic beast to have so many heavenly demonic crystals in its body. Zhao Ritian and Yu Yangchen's eyes were filled with excitement. After the prehistoric demonic beast was killed by Darkness Ling Xiao, they found dozens of heavenly demonic crystals in its body and its nest. They knew that the heavenly demonic crystals were good stuff. Naturally, they wouldn't miss it. It's a pity that Zi Xiao chose to self-destruct. Even the purple heaven thunder halberd was destroyed. He must have many heavenly demonic crystals in his hands. Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of pity. When Zi Xiao self-destructed, the purple heaven thunder halberd also shattered into a few pieces. The heavenly demonic crystals in Zi Xiao's body were also shattered into pieces. The heavenly demonic crystals were formed by the pure demonic qi and evil qi in the heavenly demonic abyss. They contained the demonic Tao's origin. Although the terrifying evil qi had a great impact on the primordial spirit, it was a supreme treasure for tempering one's physical body. With so many heavenly demonic crystals in one go, Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's physical body could be strengthened. It's not a pity. I know where there are many heavenly demonic crystals. I'm just afraid that you won't dare to go. Yap Liangchen rolled his eyes and chuckled. Many heavenly demonic crystals. How many are there? Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian's eyes lit up. At least 10,000 heavenly demonic crystals. Yi Liangchen raised a finger and said slowly. What? Zhao Ritian exclaimed. Even his breathing had become a little hurried. Where is it? Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes were burning with passion. The guardian of the heavenly demonic emperor city is called Mo Peng. He found a heavenly demonic or vein in the heavenly demonic abyss. It produces heavenly demonic crystals. However, there are many guardians guarding the place. At the same time, there are also Mo Peng's clone imprints. If we force our way in, Mo Peng will soon find out. Let's see if you have the guts to go against the guardian. Yi Yangchen chuckled. Guardian Mo Peng? What's there to be afraid of? Ling Xiao has already killed 2 guardian envoys. If he dares to stop us, we'll kill another guardian envoys for fun. Zhao Ritian laughed proudly. Darkness Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. A heavenly demonic crystal or vein? How many heavenly demonic crystals could there be? It might be more than the 10,000 heavenly demonic crystals that Yi Yangchen mentioned. How did you know about such top-secret information? Darkness Ling Xiao looked at Yi Yangchen and asked. The heavenly demonic crystals were not only useful to the trial takers, but they were also extremely precious treasures to the prehistoric demonic beasts. If there was a heavenly demonic crystal or vein, the prehistoric demonic beasts would have already snatched it. Mo Peng is not a good person. The heavenly demonic crystal or vein is extremely difficult to mine. He has secretly captured many trial takers to mine the heavenly demonic crystals for him. I was almost captured by him. After that, I followed them and found that top-secret place. Yi Yangchen explained. If that's the case, what are we waiting for? Let's snatch it. This guardian Mo Peng is not a good person. Let's do justice for the heavens. Zhao Ritian said excitedly. All right. If we were in the heavenly demonic emperor city, we would not be a match for the guardian. However, we are in the heavenly demonic abyss. So what? If he dares to stop us, we will just kill him. Darkness Ling Xiao nodded and said. His eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. After the 3 of them came to an agreement, they cleaned up the battlefield and each of them took a dozen heavenly demonic crystals. Then, under Yi Yangchen's lead, they headed towards the heavenly demonic or vein. Just as Yi Yangchen said, the location of the heavenly demonic or vein was extremely well hidden. No wonder the prehistoric demonic beasts could not find it. In the depths of the heavenly demonic abyss, there was a huge lake. The lake water was extremely pure and it contained the aura of light. It was as if Yin gave birth to Yang. The surrounding demonic aura was monstrous. However, the lake was radiant and holy. This holy aura was what the prehistoric demonic beasts that lived in the heavenly demonic abyss hated the most. The lake was the lake of brilliance. The heavenly demonic or vein was right below the lake of brilliance. In the lake of brilliance, there is a huge underground or vein that is covered by a barrier. There are also countless guards patrolling the area. If we act rashly and alert the enemy, I'm afraid it will be difficult for us to enter the heavenly demonic or vein. Yi Liangqin explained. Then, how are we going to enter? Are we going to barge in? Zhao Ritian asked. How can this be a problem for Liangqin? I killed a guard earlier and snatched the pass from him. Later, I will disguise myself as that guard. The two of you will be my captives and sent to the heavenly demonic or vein to mine. Let's sneak in directly. Yi Liangqin smiled proudly. A light flashed in his hand and a silver pass appeared. If that's the case, what are we waiting for? Zhao Ritian's eyes lit up and he quickly said. After we sneak into the heavenly demonic or vein, we will dig up as many heavenly demonic crystals as we can. After we are discovered by the guards, it will be up to you how to deal with the guards and the demonic rock guardian. After Yi Liangqin instructed, he took out a set of black armor and wore it neatly. Then, a light flashed around his body and he turned into a cold guard with a sinister face and murderous aura around him. 2 black chains appeared in his hands. The runes on them were bright and they contained a powerful sealing power. The chains flew across the sky and tied up Zhao Ritian and Darkness Ling Xiao. However, although the sealing power of the black chains was strong, it was nothing to Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian. They could break free at any time. Just like that, Yi Liangqin held Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian. His body was filled with murderous aura and his face was incomparably cold. He swaggered into the Lake of Brilliance. Chapter 32-31. The Lake of Light was flowing with bright light. It was holy and mysterious. It was completely different from the surging demonic aura around it. It was as if it was divided into 2 different worlds. However, when Darkness Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, and Yi Liangqin entered the Lake of Light, they realized that there was another world within it. In the Lake of Light, the light was resplendent and the multicolored light was dense. It seemed to contain an incomparably mysterious world. The Lake of Light was unfathomable. The 3 of them sneaked into the depths. Not long after, they saw a huge crystal palace. It was crystal clear and flawless. The crystal palace was built on a mountain. Behind it was a huge mountain range. It rose and fell like a huge beast hibernating at the bottom of the water. The crystal palace and the mountain range were enveloped by a huge and transparent barrier. At the entrance of the crystal palace, there was a group of cold-looking guards in armor. Their eyes were like lightning as they vigilantly observed their surroundings. They were all guards of the celestial demon imperial city. They were ordered by the guardian to guard this place and protect the secret of the celestial demon or vein. That mountain range is the celestial demon or vein. However, it is covered by a formation. That door is the only entrance. After we sneak in, we will act according to the situation. Yi Liangqin transmitted his voice to Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian. Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian were also sizing up the crystal palace in front of them. They nodded slightly when they heard that. Stop right there. The 3 of them were stopped at the entrance of the crystal palace. A cold and arrogant young man in black armor with a red cloak behind him swept his gaze across the 3 of them. Finally, his gaze landed on Yi Liangqin. His cultivation was extraordinary. He had already reached the high-level Imperial Emperor realm. It was obvious that he was the commander of the guards. Who are you? You look a little unfamiliar. Do you have a pass? The cold and arrogant young man stared at Yi Liangqin and said. Subordinate Zhang Jun greets my lord. This is my pass. Under the orders of the guardian, I am escorting 2 trial takers here to mine. Yu Yangchen did not panic. He cupped his hands and bowed to the arrogant young man. Then, a bright light appeared in his palm, and a pass appeared. The arrogant young man took the medallion and activated a trace of origin energy. The medallion immediately emitted a bright light and floated above Yu Yangchen's head. It emitted a mysterious aura. Yu Yangchen looked calm. The aura on his body was exactly the same as the aura on the token. That would prove that Yu Yangchen was the real owner of the token and not a fake one. The arrogant young man's expression relaxed as he said indifferently, "Go in." After he finished saying those words, the surrounding guards activated the spirit formation and opened the spirit formation gate. They were planning to let Yu Yangchen, Darkness Ling Xiao, and Zhao Ritian in. Darkness Ling Xiao and Zhao Ritian looked at each other and understood what had happened. Yu Yangchen was indeed reliable. He had managed to deceive the guards. However, just as they were about to step into the barrier, the arrogant young man's expression suddenly changed. His eyes flashed with killing intent. "Not good, they are not guards. Close the barrier and stop them." Rumble. The black saber in the arrogant young man's hand was incomparably sharp. In an instant, it turned into a bright saber ray and swept toward Yu Yangchen and the others. Yu Yangchen was also stunned. He did not expect that his identity would be exposed. He did not know what had gone wrong. Boom! Killing intent flashed through Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes. He shot out a punch and sent the two guards who were trying to close the spirit formation gate flying back while coughing up blood. "Let's go in first," Darkness Ling Xiao shouted. He did not even bother to take a glance at the arrogant young man behind him. His demonic armor emitted a bright light. His demonic might was unparalleled as he smashed his attack behind him. Kacha! The bright saber ray shattered. The saber in the arrogant young man's hand was actually broken in half by Darkness Ling Xiao's punch. His blood was surging violently. It was as if he had been struck by lightning. He coughed up blood as he retreated. His eyes were filled with incomparable shock. Right at this moment, Darkness Ling Xiao brought Zhao Ritian and Yu Yangchen and charged into the spirit formation gate. Rumble. The spirit formation gate closed once again. However, Darkness Ling Xiao and the other two had already snuck in. Outside the gate, the arrogant young man and the many guards had ugly expressions on their faces. Their killing intent was boiling. Their eyes were filled with both shock and anger. They knew that something big had happened. Quickly inform the guardian. "The rest of you, follow me to kill these 3 thieves." The arrogant young man shouted. His eyes were filled with incomparable cold killing intent. He led a group of guards and charged into the spirit formation gate. The rest of them quickly went to inform the guardian. This was the place that the guardian valued the most. It contained the heavenly demon or vein. It could be said that it was the guardian's lifeblood. Now that someone had charged in, if the guardian were to know about it, he would be furious. Within the spirit formation gate, there were many guards in the Crystal Palace. The battle at the gate had also awakened the guards in the Crystal Palace. Whoosh! 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 Figures with powerful auras rushed out of the Crystal Palace. Their eyes were incomparably cold and their bodies were filled with killing intent. "How dare you? How dare you behave so atrociously here? Kill them! Don't let them get close to the heavenly demon or vein." Many guards shouted sternly. Every one of them executed powerful divine abilities and secret techniques as they charged towards Darkness Ling Xiao and the other two. "Get lost!" Darkness Ling Xiao's eyes were incomparably cold. His body was filled with ice-cold killing intent. He took a step forward and the void shook. Unparalleled demonic aura spread out. It was as if a peerless demon had descended into the world. The ferocious aura caused the faces of the guards to change. Rumble. The demonic armor was as red as blood. A terrifying aura erupted. An unparalleled fist print instantly traversed the sky and pressed down on the guards. The fist was extremely ferocious and domineering. It actually wanted to suppress all the guards at the same time. You're courting death. Someone shouted coldly. Darkness Lingxiao's cultivation was only at the 6th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. In the eyes of the guards, he was simply courting death. But soon, they felt fear that came from the depths of their souls. That unparalleled fist print contained a monstrous aura. It was as if it had formed a vast world and enveloped them within it. The ferocious and domineering fist intent exploded and instantly blasted on their bodies. Puff! Many of the guards' bodies shook violently. They suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood and were directly sent flying. Naturally, this included the arrogant young man. Many of the guards' eyes were filled with incomparable shock. Their bodies trembled and they were both shocked and furious. They could not believe that Darkness Lingxiao was so terrifying. A bunch of trash. Darkness Lingxiao sneered coldly. He swaggered into the heavenly demon or vein with Zhao Ritian and Yi Liangchen. The guards behind them were extremely upset. However, none of them dared to chase after them. What should we do? Are we going to let him snatch the heavenly demon crystal? If the guardian arrives, I'm afraid we'll all be punished. A guard commander said with an ugly expression. The three of them are extremely powerful. We're no match for them. We'll only be courting death if we forcefully attack them. Immediately activate the array and trap them. We'll wait for the guardian to arrive. The arrogant young man said coldly. Although he was extremely depressed and aggrieved, he had to admit that Darkness Lingxiao's strength was beyond their imagination. This was a powerful trial taker who possessed the combat strength of a peerless imperial emperor. That's right. This array was personally set up by the guardian. Even a peerless imperial emperor would not be able to break it. Although they're powerful, how can they be a match for the guardian? Trap them until they die. When the guardian arrives, they'll all die. Many of the guards nodded and said. Including the arrogant young man, there were a total of 3 guardian commanders in the spirit array. They controlled the power of the spirit array. Although they could not use the power of the spirit array to kill the enemy, they could trap the enemy inside the spirit array if they activated the spirit array. Following the arrogant young man's suggestion, the 3 guard commanders immediately took action. A formation flag appeared in each of their hands. As the formation flag waved, the void shook and the runes shone brightly. The array released an ancient and desolate aura and instantly became several times stronger. The trial takers who were mining in the heavenly demon mineral vein could not help but raise their heads. Their eyes were filled with shock and uncertainty. Although their cultivation was sealed and they were trapped here to mine, they were constantly thinking about escaping. At this moment, Darkness Lingxiao, Zhao Ritian, and Yi Liangchen had already entered the heavenly demon mineral vein. The heavenly demon crystals in the heavenly demon mineral vein have spirituality. They're hidden in the mineral vein. Those trial takers could only use the power of the indestructible primordial spirit to capture them. Otherwise, the demonic rock would not have captured so many guardians. What should we do next? I'm afraid the demonic rock will be here soon. Yi Liangchen looked at Darkness Lingxiao and asked. In such a short time, the 3 of them were already very lucky to be able to dig out a few heavenly demon crystals. It was impossible for them to obtain a large number of heavenly demon crystals. Previously, they planned to deceive the guards and secretly mine. However, they were afraid that they would not be able to do so now. The demonic rock. It's great that he's here. Since the heavenly demon mineral vein is his, he must have a lot of heavenly demon crystals on him, right? Darkness Lingxiao sneered. What are you trying to do? Yi Liangchen felt that something was wrong and asked Darkness Lingxiao. Don't tell me you're going to learn from the demonic rock and kill a guardian? Zhao Ritian was also shocked by Darkness Lingxiao's idea. Can't I? If the demonic rock leaves the heavenly demon imperial city and loses the support of the heavenly Tao, he's just an ordinary peerless emperor. With the strength of the 3 of us, how can we not kill a guardian? Darkness Lingxiao said with a proud smile. His eyes were full of eagerness. Let's not be so impulsive. Although the heavenly demon crystals here have spirituality and are difficult to capture, it's not impossible. Why don't we go straight to the core of the heavenly demon mineral vein and look for the heavenly demon crystal core? Zhao Ritian shook his head and said. The heavenly demon crystal core that he was talking about was the energy source of the heavenly demon crystal. The heavenly demon crystal was formed because of the energy released by the heavenly demon crystal core. Of course, the heavenly demon crystal core was harder to find than the heavenly demon crystal. Otherwise, it would have fallen into the hands of the demonic rock. The heavenly demon crystal core. Darkness Lingxiao's heart skipped a beat. He then looked at Zhao Ritian and nodded his head involuntarily. Others might not be able to find the heavenly demon crystal core, but Zhao Ritian was the son of fortune. Perhaps he could find it. Sure. If the demonic rock dares to come, we'll kill him. Let's go look for the heavenly demon crystal core first. Darkness Lingxiao said. Swoosh. 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 The three of them instantly turned into three divine rainbows and entered the heavenly demon mineral vein. In the heavenly demon mineral vein, it was a different world. The mine tunnels extended in all directions and led deep into the ground. They intertwined with each other and were densely packed. It was very strange. In the mine, there were trial takers whose cultivations were sealed. They were exhausting their indestructible primordial spirits to find the location of the heavenly demon crystal. These trial takers were all captured by the demonic rock guardian. They had to dig out a heavenly demonic crystal every day in order to be safe and sound. Otherwise, they would easily be kicked and punched, or even have their souls refined. They would suffer endless pain. They seemed to be a little numb. They slowly moved forward in the mine, constantly searching for traces of the heavenly demon crystal. Even when Darkness Lingxiao, Zhao Ritian and Yu Yangchen entered the mine, no one paid any attention to them. They immediately chose a tunnel and headed into the depths of the tunnel. The mine tunnel was deep and the walls on both sides were extremely hard. They were filled with heavenly demon qi. Even an imperial emperor expert would find it difficult to destroy them. Darkness Lingxiao was in the mine tunnel. His body was filled with chaotic mist. He was constantly absorbing the heavenly demon qi around him. He could feel his physical body growing stronger. However, the heavenly demon qi around him was still lacking compared to the energy in the heavenly demon crystal. Darkness Lingxiao estimated that if he had thousands or tens of thousands of heavenly demon crystals to temper his body, he would be able to kill a peerless imperial emperor with a punch even without the demonic armor. However, the heavenly demon crystal was hidden in the mine. It was difficult to find it with the naked eye and divine consciousness. Only the indestructible primordial spirits could detect the whereabouts of the heavenly demon crystal when they entered the mine tunnel. However, this kind of detection was a huge burden for the indestructible primordial spirits. It would consume a lot of origin energy. They had already gone hundreds of thousands of feet into the mine tunnel, but they still did not find any traces of the heavenly demon crystal. It was as if Zhao Ritian's good luck had run out here. In front of them was a cold stone wall. They had already reached the end of the mine tunnel. Could it be that we are going to mine here? Yu Yangchen said with a strange expression. Don't speak. I can already feel the aura of the heavenly demon crystal. Zhao Ritian's eyes suddenly lit up and he stopped Yu Yangchen. You can feel the aura of the heavenly demon crystal? Who are you trying to fool? Yu Yangchen's eyes were filled with suspicion. Darkness Lingxiao was also skeptical. Zhao Ritian did not even use his indestructible primordial spirit. How could he discover the heavenly demon crystal? Not to mention, they were already at the end of the mine tunnel. There was only a deep stone wall in front of them. Go! Zhao Ritian ignored the two of them. With a flash of light in his hand, the heavenly Tao Emperor's sword rose into the air and slashed at the stone wall at the side. Swoosh! 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 The sword qi was chilling. It was like cutting through tofu. The heavenly Tao Emperor's sword quickly broke through the cold stone wall and drilled into the depths. Zhao Ritian, Darkness Lingxiao, and Yu Yangchen followed closely behind. Rumble. The Heavenly Tao Emperor sword had opened up a mind tunnel. After a few hundred feet, it was as if it had slashed on a hard divine metal. Sparks flew in all directions and layers of rock were peeling off. Zhao Ritian activated all the origin energy in his body. The blood qi in his body rose. The Heavenly Tao Emperor sword shone brightly and there were traces of Emperor's aura spreading out. The sword light was extremely sharp and it instantly shattered the hard rock in front of them. It was as if a tunnel to a new world had been opened. The scene in front of them suddenly opened up. Resplendent light permeated the air and a huge underground cave appeared. Above the cave, heavenly demon crystals were emitting a deep glow. They were intertwined with pure demonic aura and hung on the stone wall. Upon closer inspection, there were hundreds of heavenly demon crystals. This works too. Darkness Ling Xiao and Yu Yangchen looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Yu Yangchen had really found the heavenly demon crystals. Moreover, there were hundreds of them. Chapter 32-32. In the sky above the heavenly demon abyss. The chaotic mist lingered and the divine light was dazzling. A middle-aged man in a black robe was sitting cross-legged. He was burly and his eyes were like lightning. It was as if they could reflect the void and observe every movement in the heavenly demon abyss. He was the guardian of the heavenly demon emperor city, Mo Peng. Heavenly demonic crystals floated around the demonic rock. At a rough glance, there were more than 1,000 of them. Wisps of heavenly demonic qi escaped from the crystals and poured into his body, making his body stronger and stronger like an immortal rock. His qi and blood rose. Wisps of mysterious qi were emitted from his physical body, causing the surrounding void to distort. He was extremely powerful. After absorbing the thousands of heavenly demon crystals, Mo Peng showed a satisfied smile on his face. With another 3,000 heavenly demon crystals, my calamity heavenly demon body should be complete. When that happens, all the guardians, all the geniuses, all of them will die. Mo Peng whispered to himself. His eyes were extremely sharp. Unfortunately, the production in the heavenly demon mineral vein is still too slow. However, this trial might be able to bring me enough heavenly demon crystals. Mo Peng thought to himself. At that moment, a cold light flashed in his eyes. Someone had invaded the heavenly demon mineral vein. He was immersed in cultivation before, so he did not notice it. Now that he had woken up, he immediately felt the summons of the 3 guardian commanders in the heavenly demon mineral vein. He also knew what had happened in the heavenly demon mineral vein. 3 trial takers had disguised themselves as guardians and had infiltrated the heavenly demon mineral vein. You reckless fool! How dare you covet my heavenly demon crystals? I'd like to see who has the guts to do so. Mo Peng's eyes were filled with killing intent. Demonic qi was boiling around him. It was as if ghosts were wailing and wolves were howling. Boom! He took a step forward and traveled hundreds of millions of miles in an instant. His speed was extremely fast as he headed toward the heavenly demon mineral vein. Soon, he arrived at the Lake of Brilliance. The guardians in the heavenly demon mineral vein, as well as the 3 commanders, were waiting outside the formation. They had reinforced the formation with the power of the formation flags, completely sealing the formation. Greetings, Guardian Commander. When they saw Mo Peng, all the guardians and commanders immediately knelt down to greet him. Get up! Mo Peng's eyes were cold and indifferent. He swept his gaze over the crowd, causing them to tremble. The horror on their faces became even denser. However, the demonic rock was not in the mood to pursue their sins at this moment. His eyes seemed to penetrate the formation barrier and saw the depths of the heavenly devil mineral vein. Where Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian, and Yu Yangchen were. Guardian, among the 3 of them, one of them has been found out. He is Zhao Ritian, the one who is being chased by many challengers in the imperial city. As for the other 2, their identities have yet to be ascertained. The arrogant young man mustered up his courage and said to the demonic rock. An inexplicable fluctuation appeared in the demonic rock's eyes. Rumor has it that Zhao Ritian is the son of the Heavenly Emperor. His strength is unparalleled. However, there is a young man beside him who is skilled in fist techniques. His cultivation is at the 6th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm, but he suppressed all of us with a single punch. His combat strength is comparable to a peerless Imperial Emperor. The arrogant young man nodded. The son of the Heavenly Emperor? The Heavenly Emperor has fallen. So what if he's the son of the Heavenly Emperor? But could the young man with the son of the Heavenly Emperor be Ling Xiao? Mo Peng said expressionlessly. No one knew what he was thinking. Ling Xiao. The expressions of the arrogant young man and all the guards changed as they sucked in a breath of cold air. Ling Xiao's name could be said to have reverberated like thunder on Eternal Emperor Road. He had killed 2 guardians of the imperial cities. Legend had it that he had the combat strength of a peerless emperor. His strength was heaven-defying and terrifying. He was regarded as a peerless figure who was comparable to the ancient Skyprides. Some people even thought that Ling Xiao might be able to reach the end of the Eternal Emperor Road and obtain the secret of transcendence. Ling Xiao is good at fist techniques. His physical body is unparalleled. He uses brute force to suppress others. His cultivation is at the 5th or 6th heaven of the Imperial Emperor realm. His combat strength is comparable to a peerless emperor, the arrogant young man said slowly. His eyes were filled with horror. After he told them about Ling Xiao, he felt that the young man beside Zhao Ritian was too similar to Ling Xiao. Could it really be Ling Xiao? But he doesn't look like Ling Xiao. Moreover, his body is filled with demonic qi. He looks like a member of the Devil Clan. One of the guard commanders said hesitantly. They don't look alike. If it's really Ling Xiao, he would have become the public enemy of all the imperial cities. I'm afraid he would have chosen to change his appearance and hide his aura. Mo Peng said faintly. Then what should we do? The arrogant young man said with an ugly expression. At the mention of Ling Xiao's name, all the guardians began to feel nervous. Their faces turned ugly and were filled with fear. Their fighting spirit had dissipated. Moreover, the arrogant young man knew that Mo Peng might be afraid. He knew the guardian's character very well. He had always been as timid as a mouse and only liked to bully the weak. Why would he fight Ling Xiao head-on? It doesn't matter. The formation barrier here was set up by me on the basis of a primitive emperor formation. Even Ling Xiao won't be able to break it. Moreover, so what if it's Ling Xiao? If he dares to enter the imperial city, I can suppress him with a flip of my hand. Mo Peng smiled proudly. The 3 guardian commanders looked at each other, but in their hearts, they knew that Mo Peng was really afraid. He only knew how to rely on the formation barrier and the heavenly way of the imperial city. However, he never mentioned about suppressing Ling Xiao personally. Wasn't this because he was afraid? However, if it's really Ling Xiao, would he be so stupid as to rush into the imperial city to fight with you? Lord Guardian, where is your myriad calamity heavenly demon body? Where is the ruthlessness you showed when you captured the trial takers to mine? Why did you keep silent when Ling Xiao was mentioned? Although the 3 guardian commanders were cursing in their hearts, they did not dare to say it out loud. The aggressive demonic rock guardian had originally planned to rush into the heavenly devil mineral vein and capture the 3 thieves. However, he no longer mentioned the matter of taking action. Mo Peng guardian chose to wait outside the formation barrier. As long as the 3 thieves dared to come out, he would kill them directly. Outside the formation barrier, it became a little quiet and the atmosphere was extremely awkward. In the heavenly demon mineral vein. Darkness Ling Xiao did not know that he was mistaken for Ling Xiao. However, even if he knew, it was nothing. He was Ling Xiao's darkness doppelganger. It was not an exaggeration to say that he was Ling Xiao. Moreover, he did not expect Mo Peng guardian to be so afraid of Ling Xiao. The 3 of them were attracted by the cave in front of them at this moment. What is this place? Yap Liangchen asked curiously. This was an incomparably vast underground space. It looked like a forgotten world. The hundreds of heavenly demon crystals above their heads were just the beginning. The further they walked, the more heavenly demon crystals there were on the stone walls on both sides. The heavenly demon crystals that were hard to find in the mine were like ordinary stones here. They could be seen everywhere. At a rough glance, there were more than 1,000 heavenly demon crystals. We're rich. There are so many heavenly demon crystals. Did we come to the core of the heavenly demon mineral vein? Zhao Ritian exclaimed excitedly. The core of the heavenly demon mineral vein. Could there be a heavenly demon crystal core here? Darkness Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. It's very possible. Only a heavenly demon crystal core can make the heavenly demon crystals so obedient. Let's go. If we find a heavenly demon crystal core, we'll be rich. Yap Liangqin's eyes lit up as he nodded. Naturally, they did not let go of the heavenly demon crystals on the stone walls on both sides. They easily collected them. As they walked forward, they had already dug up more than 1,000 heavenly demon crystals. In front of them, there was a black mist. It was filled with a strong heavenly demon aura. It formed all kinds of mysterious and eerie scenes. They realized that the heavenly demon crystals on the stone walls were constantly absorbing the heavenly demon aura. They were buzzing and emitting a deep light. There seemed to be something in the black mist that was causing all the heavenly demon crystals to resonate with each other. It must be a heavenly demon crystal core. Yap Liangqin said excitedly. Zhao Ritian also nodded. His eyes were filled with eagerness. Zhao Ritian was still collecting the heavenly demon crystals in the surroundings. Yap Liangqin could not wait any longer and ran into the black mist. Something's not right. Be careful. Darkness Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he said hurriedly. However, his reminder was too late. Yap Liangqin had already come into contact with the black mist. Crack! The black mist suddenly surged. A black lightning bolt that contained the power to destroy everything flew out from the mist. It was extremely fast and struck Yap Liangqin's body. Ah! Yap Liangqin screamed. He did not even have the time to dodge. He was instantly struck by the black lightning. Yap Liangqin's body twitched. He was foaming at the mouth. His hair stood on end. His body was surrounded by black lightning. He looked extremely miserable. However, there was an extremely mysterious power in Yap Liangqin's body. It shone brightly and turned the lightning into nothingness. Therefore, Yap Liangqin did not suffer any serious injuries. It was just a superficial wound. Swoosh! Darkness Ling Zhao waved his hand. Suddenly, a black divine rainbow flew across the sky. It wrapped around Yap Liangqin and pulled him back. Rumble! Within the black mist, an incomparably terrifying aura rose. It was as if a primordial beast had awakened, causing Darkness Ling Zhao and Zhao Ritian to reveal an incomparably solemn expression. Could there be some ancient demonic beast here? Zhao Ritian said slowly. I'm afraid it's not an ancient demonic beast. Darkness Ling Zhao said. Within the black fog, streaks of blazing lightning rose, containing a tyrannical and terrifying power. In an instant, they swept across the sky like a waterfall, enveloping the entire catacombs. Darkness Ling Zhao, Zhao Ritian and Yap Liangqin were naturally the main targets. Rumble! Darkness Ling Zhao's eyes were like steel. The chaotic light around him shone brightly. He threw out a punch. An unparalleled fist print swept across the void and destroyed all the black lightning bolts that were coming towards him. Zhao Ritian took out the Flame Emperor Cauldron. It floated above the three of them. Streaks of flames fell from the cauldron and covered them like a barrier. When the black lightning struck the Flame Emperor Cauldron, a deafening sound was heard. The Flame Emperor Cauldron shook violently. Yap Liangqin, this is all your fault. Zhao Ritian glared at Yap Liangqin. How would I know? I thought the heavenly demon crystal core was in the mist. Who knew that there was such a terrifying thing in there? Yap Liangchen said with a long face. Anyway, nothing good will happen when I'm with you. Zhao Ritian was also extremely depressed. Yap Liangchen was indeed the body of misfortune. Even with his heaven-defying luck, he was unlucky. Devouring from the black mist. Although the existence had not appeared yet, the explosive power of the lightning was comparable to that of a peerless emperor. It was obvious that it was not something to be trifled with. I'd like to see what the hell is it. Zhao Ritian's eyes flashed coldly. He immediately summoned the three-legged golden crow. Rumble. The power of the Flame Emperor Cauldron was added to the three-legged golden crow. The three-legged golden crow shone brightly. The boundless grand sun primordial flame surged and formed a sea of fire that surged towards the black mist. Darkness Ling Xiao also rose into the sky. The chaotic mist around him rose. There seemed to be a mysterious world of black and white behind him. It contained an unparalleled devouring power. The black mist was formed by the heavenly demon's demonic qi. It surged over and was devoured by Darkness Ling Xiao. As Darkness Ling Xiao devoured the black mist and the grand sun primordial flame burned, the black mist started to thin out. The existence in the black mist seemed to have sensed the threat as well. In an instant, it turned into a huge whirlpool and swallowed all the black mist like a whale swallowing the sea. When the black mist disappeared, Darkness Ling Xiao, Zhao Ritian and Yap Liangchen saw the existence in it. It was a black stone that floated in the void. It was about the size of a wash basin and was surrounded by majestic heavenly demonic qi. Blazing thunderbolts intertwined and exuded an ancient and desolate aura. An illusory face appeared on the black stone. It looked chubby and cute. However, its eyes were filled with anger. Moreover, there were heavenly demon crystals around the black stone. They were piled up into a small hill. There were thousands of them. Has the stone become a spirit? Yi Liangchen stuck his head out and said. His eyes were filled with surprise and doubt. It was this guy that released the lightning and hit him. Don't talk nonsense. I'm afraid this is the heavenly demon crystal core. However, I don't know why it has become sentient. Zhao Ritian's eyes were filled with shock. We're rich. As long as we can get our hands on this heavenly demon crystal core, the heavenly demon crystals will be ours. Darkness Ling Xiao grinned. His eyes were filled with passion. Zhao Ritian and Yap Liangchen's eyes were green with envy. There were so many heavenly demon crystals. It would be more than 100,000, let alone 10,000. Ants, how dare you disturb the great heavenly demon emperor's slumber? You deserve to die. That black stone stared at Dark Ling Xiao and the other two with an unfriendly expression. It was filled with anger and actually spoke in human language. Heavenly Demon Emperor. There's a living emperor here. Darkness Ling Xiao and the other two shuddered. They felt their hair stand on end. Their eyes were filled with vigilance.